I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go eat, then you know I'm gon' feed them. If you're coming for me, hope you're ready for a demon. I got eyes in the back of my head, I'm seeing. Take me for granted and you know I'm leaving. I'ma take what's mine with the webs I'm weaving. I could take this crowd from seeing to believing. Got a taste for blood and my tongue keeps bleeding. From the words I spit, so sharp, so freezing. So cold, behold, frostbite day.
I got to talk. I gotta tell what I feel. I gotta talk about my life as I see it.
Okay, Rogue Minds, welcome back. Welcome back to the show. Thank you. It's time to get some alternate opinions and thoughts with some football and friends. It's time to state some facts, not feelings. And this right here is going to be a continuance. If you were at watching LBHT show earlier, you know that they had to kind of end a little bit early. So we're going to continue this conversation. So with that being said, bring up my first guest today, Mr. Brodney. What's going on?
What's going on, Hendo? Thanks for having me on.
Thank you for showing up. Thank you. For being here.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. You know, it's my pleasure.
No, I mean, you know, anytime you want to be on, you can be on here every week if you want.
Oh, I don't think I can do that to you.
Wow. Okay.
To your fans.
Oh, they love your takes. Oh. And we also got my man, Suge Purple Ravens Night.
I'll just say this. I was able to finish my chicken nuggets before I got on camera.
Boom.
So
we're good. That's what counts.
And I'm here because Rodney wants to be here. So that's why I'm here.
All right.
You know.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And last, but certainly not least, we got my man. What's going on?
I'm laughing because of B's intro. It's it's my pleasure to be here, right?
Absolutely, it's his pleasure. He loves it.
As my wife walks across the screen, everybody. Damn, I'm having a good day, as you can see.
It's a great day. It's a great day.
Listen, the Steelers lost. So
why you gotta bring that up right off the bat?
We're not even talking about it.
Like, why y'all gotta bring that up right off the bat? Like, you know, let's talk about y'all losing, okay?
Listen,
might lose your quarterback, you lost the game today. Why y'all gonna bring my team into it?
Okay, so anywho, we can't hear you.
And I got muted. So I can read the lips.
Okay, I'm sorry. All right, let's see who we got up in here. We got my man Davon. What's going on, son?
Cousin Davon.
Tough loss. Breed, you fooling. Thank you for joining us. And you know, we got Mr. Jose. He should be here as well, but apparently he's busy right now doing other things. So you know, we got Brodney in here, who might be a regular every week.
I don't think that's going to be the way that it goes.
One of the best halves of Lunch Break Hot Take.
I love streaming.
Thank you. I love streaming.
What's up, Reg? Danielle. Listen, they are equal. What's up, Chris? Yes, bad coach, and we're going to get into all this stuff. We also going to get into some Steelers talk. We're going to have to figure out how the Steelers lost to the Jets.
And I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out.
And it was a come from behind win from a quarterback that's been out for about 4 weeks now, right?
Well, he was out for 3 weeks. He played in the fourth. So.
Okay, about.
Okay. I mean, I didn't think it was that difficult. I mean, it's only been the 4 weeks. So it's the first time that he's played. So I figured I thought I'd help you out there.
Going on, Jazz. Okay.
Hey, the link is in the text, in the Ring Kings text.
Is it? No.
I texted it to him. As I say, he'll hop on if he gets a chance, if he gets back to the house.
Oh, you put it in okay. I thought you put it somewhere.
They're just sending a link. Ronnie's just sending a link to everybody.
Yeah, sure. Where did I learn that from?
You're right.
This is all very inside. We should probably start talking about the game.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it'll come. I don't think that these people really want to talk about the game anyway from the outcome of it. And listen, if you've been living under a rock and you haven't seen the Baltimore Ravens,
the rocket ended a couple hours ago.
Listen, you will always get that one person that's like, "What happened? What's the score?" I know I get texts of people that's like, "What happened? Did we win? Did we lose? I'm like, the game was 4 hours ago. You don't have a smartphone, a mobile device, but listen,
No.
Ravens lost to the Buffalo Bills. Bills scored 20 straight unanswered points to lead them in victory, and Jonathan Harbaugh has lost his record 5th straight home game.
Jonathan, okay. Yeah, but yeah, silver lining to that, it does mean that you were at one point up 20-3. So that's something you can build on right there. You can take that home with you.
You know what? I'll bring this up, and I'm being serious when it comes to this. I had asked somebody one time when I was doing a show with them. I said, "Are you worried about your defense, especially what it's been showing of giving up big leads, and in the fourth quarter?" And they said, "No, we ain't got to worry about it. We're good." And now it's happened twice this year, where your defense. I mean, Lamar. I mean, that's how. Mike, I'm dressed the same way. You just can't see it. I'm in my diaper right now.
What?
Yeah, I'm just absolutely.
And
that's how you rock on a
Yolanda.
Sunday. Hi, Yolanda. How are you doing?
Exactly.
No, but on the real though, I asked this person. I said, "Are you worried about this? Because your biggest strength, supposedly going into the season, was your secondary, and the secondary has really been now your weakest part of the team. Like I know, Bron, you were doing the stream earlier, and someone said if it wasn't for Tucker and Lamar, this team is a below 500 team. Yeah, possibly. And now, you're in this game against the Buffalo Bills, Buffalo Bills are, if correct me if I'm wrong, Bronny, are favored to win the Super Bowl this year, or kind of close to the top.
They're kind of the favorite, yeah.
The favorite, and you're beating them. You're putting a whooping on them, and the simple fact is you need to close out this game to show like, hey, we're a real team, and then you let this team come back and beat you the way it did. I didn't get a chance to watch the game, mostly because I was watching my Steelers lose. But from what I heard, I was.
I said you're what?
I said I didn't get a chance to watch the game because I was watching my Steelers lose. Thank you, Hendo. Yeah, I'm surprised you don't have Ben getting killed as your background right now. I really am. But
why would I do that? That's disrespectful.
Because you're very disrespectful to me. But from what I heard, there were some questionable coaching calls. I believe a 4th down play, if I'm not correct.
It was tied at 20, and there were about 4 minutes left in the game, a little more than 4 minutes left. Baltimore was down near the goal line, and they chose to go for the touchdown rather than kick a field goal. The reason being, if you kick a field goal, Baltimore goes right down the field, scores a touchdown, and wins the game anyway, which is essentially what happened. But they decided to go for the touchdown. Lamar threw an interception in the end zone. He was getting chased backwards. He was running back up when he tried to throw it. He got intercepted. Buffalo gets the ball, goes right down the field. I mean, like the Ravens defense isn't even there. And they get to a point where they're inside the 5 and they got a decision to make, right? They're like, hey, there's still time left on the clock. Do we kick the field goal here or what are we going to do essentially, right? So they line up, they run a QB sneak, they pick up about 2 yards, get a first down, and then they kneel twice inside the 2-yard line, kick a field goal, game's over. Some people think that you kick the field goal and then magically the defense shows up and makes a play. I don't subscribe to that theory, but it's an alternate theory for you.
So do you think that was the right move, Mike?
I'm not mad at going for it. Like I just feel like if you go for it, I see both sides, right? I see people that say, take the points. I get it. So I'm not arguing about that, as I have a naked baby running behind me. Don't mind that. And I also see going for it. I also see going for it, right?
He didn't like going for it.
Yeah, I see. He didn't like going for it.
He sounds like most Ravens fans right now.
Wow.
Yeah,
Sorry
I'm
about
gonna
that.
take my shots.
Sorry about
You
that.
lost once again to the Jets.
And, hey, it's okay.
Zach Wilson
Okay.
made Jets. But go ahead, Mike.
Not even the souped up Joe Flacco Jets.
Stop it, Brownie. Okay.
Anyway, my bad for that.
You good, bro?
But so I'm not mad at the choice either, right? I just feel like if you're there, you're down it. We got to find a way to punch the ball in. Even before that, too, we shouldn't even have had to been in a 4th and goal situation. Like, get the ball in the end zone before that. So we got to find a way to be able to score in those type of situations. I'm not mad either way, but I see both sides. So,
like, to respond to Big Red here, he says, my thing is we paid for defense, so take the points, and if they give it up, whatever, we did what we could. No, doing what you could means trying to go for the win, right? Not just saying, hey, we paid for defense, so we got to put it on them. How many of you honestly thought that the defense was going to get a stop in that situation? No. How many of you, if you kicked a field goal, how many of you thought that they were going to hold Buffalo to a field goal? If you don't have the faith in the defense, don't put it in the defense's hands. Like, I know it didn't work out this time, but like, do you want the game decided by Lamar Jackson, or do you want the game decided by Patrick Queen? and Marlon Humphrey. I mean,
but you said this time it happened with Miami. The same thing happened with Miami. We put it in the defense's hands, and look what happened.
They kicked the field goal against Miami with 2 minutes left, and Miami went right down the field and scored a touchdown. And y'all lost by 4 instead of 3.
But you know what, B? All I've been hearing though is how the Ravens had this top-notch secondary, and they were, they're going to be top 5. All these Raven fans, I hang around a lot of them apparently, and they were saying that they have this top 5 defense. Well, if you have this top 5 defense, I mean, these top 5 secondary. I mean, you can't, you're up. Like, how does that happen? And this was Ravens were at home, correct?
Yes, we were.
You are up that much. You're beating the Bills. You have them in this position of they're kind of doubting themselves, and you just go to sleep the second half. Like, I've never heard of the Ravens team actually doing that.
Well, it's not that
other than this year.
It's not that we went to sleep. It's just that we start getting conservative.
Well, and Rashad Bateman was out the entire second half. Who's the only
he dropped
semi-threat at receiver,
and he dropped some critical passes.
He did, but I'm just talking about the threat is gone at that point, and the entire defense can focus on shutting down Mark Andrews, which is exactly what they did.
Exactly, and this is exactly why we stated before. Listen, we need something other than Rashad Bateman at wide receiver. And no, everybody was like, no, let's let the young guys cook. Let's see what they can do. Now we see, as we said, if something ever happened to Bateman, what are they going to do? They're going to double up Mark Andrews, and we're going to have to rely on Prochet, Duvernay, and Wallace to get something done. And that whole second half, they got nothing accomplished. Because
I thought Duvernay was the best thing since sliced bread last week.
No. Duvernay is better than we expected him to be.
Yes.
Duvernay is not better than sliced bread. We didn't expect 3 touchdowns.
Sliced bread's a pretty high bar, man. But this was the first game that Duvernay hadn't scored a touchdown in, right? Like he's been playing great. But it's just, he's the third receiver essentially, right? He's like a wide receiver 3, maybe a 4, ideally. I mean, he's in the wide receiver 2 role in Baltimore.
Well, wait a minute. I'm sorry. Excuse me for a second, Bronny.
Yeah, that's right.
Hey, Big Reg. Prochet got many snaps. If you actually watch the tape, you'll see him just walking in the middle of the field back to the huddle. He got plenty of snaps. They just didn't throw him the ball.
Listen, I don't care that it's not exactly accurate. Big Reg is playing my song right there. We love some Prochet got out there and didn't produce. But
y'all are still in first place.
No.
Are you going to be able to go to Buffalo and beat Buffalo? I don't think so. Are you going to be able to go to Miami? I mean, unless Tua doesn't come back. I mean, if Tua comes back, you'll be able to go to Miami and win that game?
Yes.
And a high.
No.
I don't know.
No,
I don't. With your defense, I mean, Lamar could win that game. Lamar could win that game by himself.
Lamar can win any game,
but your defense can't.
No.
That is true, but I just think that the biggest issue here, to me personally, is we didn't do enough on the offensive line, and Lamar did not have that protection, nor did we have the running lanes to kind of get things done. Oh, What do we have here?
Hey, guys.
What's going on?
What is going on, man?
we try.
Baseball Life and Chris, y'all can say what you want, but okay, like we know we're gonna have the Steelers are gonna have a down year. I already knew that was gonna happen.
Why you get
y'all are supposed to be favored to win this division. Y'all are supposed to be this great team, and y'all look bad. So
I'm feeling also aggression from
right.
you. So what's going on?
They coming at they asking me about my team when we're talking about the Ravens. Like
that is your team, Suge. Like just stop. If you would just stop, then you wouldn't have to deal with stuff like
I'm
that.
confused. Like we say you're a Ravens fan, you get mad. We say, hey, Steelers lost, you get mad. I don't understand. Like, what do you want us to say here?
Say nothing to me.
No, but Suge, I get.
And no,
I get
2 and
exactly
2.
where you're coming
2 and
from.
2 is not much better than 1 and 3.
Not much.
I get exactly
It
where
ain't
you're
much
coming
better.
from, Suge, because as a fan of a quarterback challenged franchise, it's liberating, right? Like, I don't expect Baker Mayfield to win any game, so I don't care. I'm not even watching the game. I didn't watch it. I was here because
I know.
It's the Panthers. It's Baker Mayfield. I know they're gonna lose. It's fine. You can't say anything to hurt my feelings about Carolina. It's whatever.
Yeah.
Y'all are the
tried.
ones who are out here trying to
tried.
be like, hey, but Lamar and Bateman and Prochet, we going to the Super Bowl, and now you're 2 and 2, gonna be 2 and 3, and Lamar's gonna be demanding a trade in the offseason, and then what?
Look, man. So did we already talk about the game? Did we already?
That's what we're doing. We're discussing that right now. We're mostly discussing the second half collapse and what was the main component to that.
I want to talk about Marcus Peters almost fighting John Harbaugh.
Well, let's do that.
Listen. Look, have we ever seen? I know we heard about the famous mutiny that happened when Ray and Ed were here, the mutiny in the locker room, and they almost had it out then. But have you ever seen anybody go after a Harbaugh on the field, right? Like on the sideline? That's never happened. And I'm gonna tell y'all something about Marcus Peters. Marcus Peters has a high football IQ. All right, his dad coached the game. He coaches. I think him and Marshawn coached the same. I say the same team, like the same league. They're home back in Oakland, right? Like he's been around the game since he was a kid. He takes this very seriously, right? He understands what's going on. He's not just a cornerback that knows his position. He knows football, and that whole series of events, I'm sure, just set him off, right? Completely set him off. Like, okay, we can debate whether it should be a field goal or whatnot, whatever. Defense is out there. They feel like they can get the stop. You get down there, and they don't know if they should be trying to make a stop here. Owe makes a tackle, and he's like, well, and they're like, well, what are you doing? You got to let him score. Okay, well, it's third down, right? So we have to get the stop now to force a fourth down, to force a field goal right now, so they can't run any more clock out. He does. I mean, that QB sneak, that's not something they should have gotten, right? It's nothing that they should. It's not something that they should have gotten. They weren't on the same page, and they were able to push the line because our defense wasn't ready. And they get the first down, and they're able to drain the clock. That's when he loses it, because it's like, why aren't we prepared for this? What is it that your defensive coordinator is doing that we're not ready for this stuff? You say what you want about Wink. We didn't lose like that. We ain't lose like that under Wink, right? Wink has some other issues, but it didn't look like that. It looks like we don't know how to play defense at times. So yeah, I can fully understand why, he has some words for Harbaugh. And, and look, I don't think they're going to fight or anything like that, but he want to let Harbaugh know. Of course, Harbaugh.
He had more than words for Harbaugh. Marcus got a short fuse.
Right? I know he got mad because, look, he was going to yell at Harbaugh. He wasn't going to put hands on Harbaugh.
No, he wasn't.
But they're yelling at each other, and then people are getting in between. He's like, look, I want to give him a piece of my mind, right? Like, no, like this ain't the time to hold me back. Like, he needs to hear what I got to say. I think that's where it looked like, it would have been something else. But Harbaugh needed to hear that.
True. But supposedly the disconnect was, everybody knew the call was to let him score or strip the ball. But Owe decided, I'm going to tackle him.
Well, here's the thing too. Like, I'm not putting that on Owe, because what's the consistent issue with this defense for years.
Miscommunication.
Communication.
Right.
And you've got Marlo, who's a veteran.
Right.
You got Marcus, who's a veteran. What's up, Coach? You got Calais Campbell, who is the veteran, right? You got JPP, who's a veteran, right? I'm not sure if Josh Bynes was out there at that point because I mean he had gotten hurt, but he's a veteran.
He did.
Why are they not communicating that to Oweh? Why is he the only one who doesn't know?
I'll tell you why.
Because y'all ain't doing your job.
Well, no, I'll tell you why. Because Harbaugh doesn't want that kind of locker room anymore. He doesn't want the players to be coaches on the field. He doesn't want those alpha dogs out there anymore. He wants to be the sole voice on that team. And this is what happens when you get that. Like, we all understand if Ray Lewis is out there, if everywhere out there, we would be hearing it. He would be saying, listen, don't touch it. Listen, they wouldn't even gotten down the field. That's one thing. But Ray could tell everybody where they need to be on the field because he was a coach on the field. Ed could tell everybody where to go. But then that takes the power away from Harbaugh. And Harbaugh don't like that. Mm-hmm. So he wants them to be quiet. Everybody just do their job. We'll tell you where to line up. Okay, well, how come your guy can't get our guys on the field lined up or get them on the same page?
Right.
I mean, listen, it all falls on Mike McDonald. And like I told Coach in his stream, he should have used his last year eligibility and stayed in college. he shouldn't have came out early. He should have stayed there, honed his craft, because there are several different defensive coordinators out there that they could have brought in to run this defense, but they like that homegrown because they fall in line. They know the procedure. They know how everything works here. And I think that for me, Marcus Peters is like, listen, bro, this all falls on you. Like, this is all you're doing. You, for the most part, EDC handpicked the squad. You handpicked these coaches, and we not winning. We have too much talent to let this go to waste, and it just ain't working out right now.
Hey, shout out to Chen Wu. Yes, McDonald. What's up, Yolanda? Shout out to Chen Wu. Says we're overreacting. Yeah. Listen, Chen, and thank you for coming and supporting our streams. He was over in our stream earlier. Yes. Appreciate that. Mm-hmm. But I'll tell you what, had we won this game, and we were sitting here talking about how awesome the Ravens are and how we're going to win the Super Bowl, you wouldn't be saying we're overreacting. You wouldn't be saying, well, let's pump the brakes. We got some things we got to work on. Right. You would go right along with it. This is what happens when you lose, especially the way we lost. They deserve the smoke, right?
And they've played two good teams, and they're 0-2 against them.
Yep.
So I'm not sure how much of an overreaction it is.
The Patriots are tied with Green Bay right now.
And they are also not good. So
and they're also not playing Mac Jones.
They might be 2-2. They might be 2-2
in the regulation. But listen, they got
nah, coach. That man's coming to Carolina. Y'all hands off.
He's staying with Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Right, yeah, but you're right though, B.
Tomlin's leaving. Barton Flores is becoming our head coach.
Tomlin ain't going nowhere.
Where's Tomlin going, Shug?
He's going to retire. He's going to kick back.
That man is 37 years old. He ain't going nowhere.
He's 57 years old, but okay. He looks 37. He's like 50, but okay.
Yeah.
It says this ain't no trash.
That's a little overreacted.
I'm not gonna say we're going trash.
I don't think the Ravens are trash, but on your stream earlier, Jose, like someone said, if you guys didn't have Tucker and Lamar, I believe you're below 500 team.
Yes. Like, minus those two were trash. Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
There's no question.
Lamar keeps you engaged, but like I said earlier, my whole point was all I heard was how you guys had this great secondary and how your defense was going to be one of the best. And you can't. It's different if you lose a close game or things like that. But when you're up like that, your defense has to know. Look, we can't. Everything has to be in front of us. No touch. Like what Miami did to you, what Josh Allen did to you today. It's like you got to know when you're up that many points, you gotta go for the jugular. I just think, wow. Especially I've never, like I said earlier, you've never seen this happen in Baltimore.
Chen, I have to ask you. You're not like. You're not like related to anybody on the team or something, are you? All right. Like, give Queen time. He doesn't have any more time. Right. This is it for him. this is his last year here. Because we're not going to pick his fifth year.
Well, next year
this is his fourth year, right?
No, next year will be his fourth year.
Oh, okay. That's right. He's got one more year, and he may not even have that because I believe had we signed Bobby Wagner, we would have traded Patrick Queen.
True.
They would have tried.
Yeah. I don't think Patrick Queen is going to be on this team, whether it's we trade him or cut him.
Okay.
I don't think he's going to be on the team next year, to be honest.
I just want to know why he thinks he's good, because like this is the third comment that he's putting here that Queen is good. We just need to give him chances. I guess the next statement is going to be we need to put pieces around him to make him better.
Look, that's why I was saying you're not related or anything like that. Like we're not taking shots personally at him. He seems like a nice young man.
And like Big Rich said, you know, when you were going to Baltimore, you feared playing Baltimore. Yeah. Like I know you were saying, Jose, and I know you were joking how you weren't going to pick Baltimore and then you picked them on your show. But let's be honest, like you weren't comfortable with that pick. That used to not be a thing. That used to not be a thing. Look,
Buffalo's an excellent team. So I mean, I'm going to feel.
But even against excellent teams, you were like in Baltimore. You're like Baltimore's probably going to win that game. Close game. It's going to be a tough game, but Baltimore's going to win the game.
Yeah,
I don't think that's the same now. When you're like, all right, it's going to be a tough game. I don't know.
What's up, G-Star?
Yeah,
no, I feel you should.
Yeah, that's five straight at home, and that's I mean, at what point for Ravens fans is it unforgivable, right? Because this is a guy who was on his way out before they put Lamar in the game. Like they were going to fire John Harbaugh, and Lamar saved his job. You know, but you
mean EDC? You mean EDC? EDC saved his job because EDC drafted Lamar.
Right. Yes. As we learned on the now defunct We Are the AFC North podcast. So he was on his way out. He was going to get fired. Lamar saves his job. That's great. Everybody's on board now. But then you go to the playoffs. Offense doesn't work. You get beat. Offense, you go back. Offense doesn't work. You get beat. You go back again. Yeah, you get the first win. That's great. Offense doesn't work. You get beat. And then you missed the playoffs last year. And now you got these two collapses. And like I said, 5 straight home losses. And nothing seems to be changing. And the reason is because you're not trying to change anything. They're not doing anything different. They're not doing anything. They're not doing anything different than what they were doing 4 years ago that wasn't working. Right? They say, "Hey, we're doing defense and run game. We're going to be the best at it." Except we don't have the best defense. We don't have the best running backs. We don't have the best O-line. So we're going to lean on Lamar. Except he doesn't have good wide receivers and he has a terrible offensive coordinator. So at what point is enough?
Yeah.
Nobody can answer that.
Listen.
From what I heard, y'all receivers were one of the best in the.
Nobody said that. Nobody said that.
Somebody said they were comparable to Kansas City.
That's what I heard. Brian, you were there when I heard. I'm not tripping. That's what I heard.
What's going on?
Hey, what's going on?
Man, Graven does not look happy.
Set up yet?
I'm sorry.
Don't say he wants to get some of that.
Hey, how y'all doing, man?
Good. Yourself?
Good.
Hey, I'm good, man. I'm great, actually, man. Despite the Ravens, I'm still doing good, man.
Oh, man.
So it's life. It happens. I mean, you hope that I was just talking to my uncle. And he's a season ticket holder up there for the Ravens. And he asked me how I was doing. I said, I'm good. I said, we should be used to this. But he's like, no, we shouldn't be getting used to this. I'm like, yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
You would think that like last year taught a lot of valuable lessons to the Ravens. Based off of just situational play calling, game management. But Ravens are still looking at a lot of the same issues, man. And especially with their losses, it's like maybe they need to play every single game away because they play at home, they get these big leads, and then they just chill. They just start relaxing. Okay, we can take it easy. And then they end up losing. So, but when they've been in the 2 away games, they done kept their foot on the opponent's throats. But that's that. But good evening, everybody.
I'll tell you one thing, Graven. It sucks getting used to it. It does. but once you break through that other side, man, it's great. I got no worries about Carolina over here. they got beat down by the Cardinals today. I don't care.
Shout out to Hollywood.
You
got a completely unnecessary touchdown. I don't know why he had to do that, but that's all right.
Hollywood could have helped us today.
Hey, I want to say thank you to Coach Evans for that $10 donation.
Shout out to Coach.
He said my purple Kool-Aid flowing now.
You know what's crazy? And it's kind of scary when you think about it. Yeah, I know y'all have all seen a picture of Rashad Bateman in a walking boot.
Right.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people's in this stream right now. A lot of us had our gripes about the same position and the lack of quality in that same position when it came to the wide receivers. Yes. And we were saying that we were hoping that the Ravens would steal, even with Rashad Bateman, because he still looked promising last year. It's like, okay, shout out to Rashad. But we just felt like the Ravens could have done more. It's very scary to think about what this offense is, even with Rashad Bateman, but then without Rashad Bateman too.
Right.
Coach has an answer in the chat. He has an answer right there. Pro-Shay time. Let's go.
Okay, number 3. Let's get it, baby. We're gonna see though, man.
I'll tell you one thing, man. I'm looking forward to them shirts from Couch Rider Raven, because it doesn't. I mean, it's only 4 weeks in, but it don't look like he hit the 800 yards.
It don't look like it.
He been on DMs copping pleas already, making excuses about what's going on. Like, hey.
Couch Rider thought Pro-Shay was hitting 800.
They made a bet.
Oh yeah. Okay, I mean it's still possible, but I don't know.
Is it though?
It seems like with Pro-Shay, because I was like 2,000% sure the way that the Ravens were like promoting him and stuff. Mm-hmm. I never forget that presser where it was supposed to be Rashad Bateman, but they put Pro-Shay up on it too. So I'm like, man, they really like pushing Pro-Shay. I'm thinking like, all right, is Rashad Bateman gonna be their number 1, and Pro-Shay is gonna be their number 2? Because the way that they used Devin Duvernay last year, I just didn't think that they viewed him as a receiver, because they just used him on the jet sweeps. They used him at kick return or whatever. He was just a gadget guy. So I'm like, man, no way this year that Devin Duvernay going to be no number 2 receiver. It's going to be Bateman, Pro-Shay, and then whoever else, whether it be DeMarcus Robinson, Duvernay, or not Tylen Wallace maybe, but I just didn't see it. But, Devin Duvernay ended up being their number 2. And Pro-Shay he ain't even really been getting that many snaps. Oh, but I know he missed the past couple games, but the first game he was healthy and he got like 5 snaps.
Five snaps. Mm-hmm. And they've been mostly blocking. He hasn't been targeted once. I don't think.
Can't nobody pump fake like the Ravens can, boy. They'll hype up somebody and you just won't see them out there. You know?
Yeah, man. So
Yolanda, to answer your question, no, there's no worthwhile wide receivers in free agency. They needed to be calling teams, inquiring about trades, and not Jalen Reagor, somebody who could actually affect the offense. They needed to be doing that before the season started. But I mean, listen, in EDC we trust, right? That's where we at.
Listen, that's Coach Evans' guy right there. He loves Mekhi Pope. Like,
he's a Giant now, right?
Yeah.
It's
out with the Giants.
Everybody signed with the Giants from us.
Yeah.
Kenny Galladay's not doing what he's supposed to. Thank goodness we didn't sign him.
I saw Ben Bredesen in an actual game last week. Wow.
No, you didn't.
I saw him for a second until he spun around, and then all I saw was the rusher. But he was out there.
Like, you know what's funny? Like, we don't even have to go that far. We don't have to go that far, Coach. We just team, no need for 11 picks, right? We can do good with 4 or 5 picks.
Team draft George Pickens instead of a guy you're putting directly on IR.
I mean,
how did our center? I'm ranting now. How did our center get 2 false starts? How did he psych himself out? You're holding the ball
twice.
How does that happen, man? Shout out to Tyler Linderbaum, man.
That's my guy. Like
that's my guy.
I like Tyler Linderbaum.
Yeah.
But maybe I mean he had something. He had something else on his mind. He was like, oh snap. Look, I don't know what y'all did to Coach Evans, but Coach Evans was not like this before he started messing around with us. Like he was team positive all the time. Every time I spoke to Coach, I got an excuse.
Well, no, that's not us. The same thing that happened to him, the same thing that happened to Marcus Peters today. He had enough. All right, that was his boiling point. I felt it. I thought he was gonna take his helmet off and slam it on the field. He was so upset, and I get it. How do we every week is miscommunications. This is what we've been saying for like the last 3 years. A little miscommunication there. A little miscommunication there. Why is it still the case? We're supposed to be past that.
Yeah. The excuse was supposed to have been that Wink's defense was so complicated, most people didn't know where they were supposed to be lined up. But the thing with Mike McDonald's defense was everybody's supposed to know where everybody else is. That was the big thing that they put out in that video. Listen, I know where he's supposed to be. I know his job. I know the communication between everybody, so we won't have these mess ups. And what happened in the fourth quarter when they were supposed to let them score that touchdown? Jason Owe was like,
no, why you call the man Jason?
Okay, all right, I'm sorry. Listen, no disrespect to him. I will no longer be calling him No Way Owe. He is now going to be referred to as One Play Owe.
He made two though.
Yeah, two.
He had a sack and a
fumble. Listen.
And I don't know if you know, he had a touchdown saving tackle right by the goal line, right at the end of the game.
Listen,
come on, man.
Listen, I'm so glad. I'm so thankful that Owe got his first sack, but I'm not gonna give him credit for when the guy pushed him into the sack on the ground.
Listen.
See, people were getting on me because I called it an accidental sack. Like, I'm happy he got it, but I called it an accidental sack.
He intentionally stuck his arm out. Like you can't take that from him. Listen, if that were Terrell Suggs, you'd be talking about his motor and how he never gives up on the play. And oh my God, look at that awareness. He got his arm out there. He just caught the ankle. But no,
he's all effort.
Yeah. But regarding the defense though, the thing that really stuck out to me is just like if what you're saying is your players are dumb. Like that's what they're saying. In a roundabout way, it's so complicated. No, what you're saying is your players aren't smart enough to get it. And so why was the answer, we're going to make them learn 11 roles instead of 1? How does that make sense?
Yeah.
I mean, that's why you've got rookie corners standing flat-footed while the fastest man on the planet is charging straight at them. That's why you got second-year edge rushers making tackles when everybody's like, yo, don't make that tackle. Right, like you're overloading them, and it doesn't work.
I mean, listen, I know that not you all, but some other people, they feel like, listen, Harbaugh's doing a wonderful job because I've heard that Jonathan Harbaugh was a top 5 Hall of Fame head coach in this league, and he makes all the right decisions. So, Rodney,
I heard that too.
This has to be on the players. Like these players just aren't good, and EDC's just not drafting well. It has nothing to do with Jonathan Harbaugh.
Look, in his defense, I know he's not a popular guy right now, but there was a clip of him kind of getting at Mike McDonald, right?
Today?
They panned off of it because he was like kind of digging in him. So he's the type of guy that obviously we know he's not going to throw him under the bus. You know, he's not going to come out tomorrow and say, Mike got to, he's not going to do that. He's going to eat all of that, but I will defend him in this regard. I did see him kind of lighten into him as TV friendly as he could. So keep that in mind. But yeah, I mean, as the head dog, it's going to fall on you. And I've even heard him say, players win games, right? Coaches lose them. So it's just what it is. It just comes along with being in the Phil Jackson lead chair. So we'll see. They got some changes to make. It didn't even dawn on me, right, that we had lost 3 games in a row at home. Better yet, 5. So when I saw that we were here and we were great and we lost today, it would be 5 in a row at home. That was mind blowing to me because it's just not what we're used to. So now that's the type of stuff that might get you fired, right? Because you coming into the bank, that's supposed to be a L, because like I think you said it earlier, Suge, you come into Baltimore, man, you got a battle because that crowd, there was a home field advantage here at one point in time.
Used to be, yeah.
Yeah. So that part of it is what is gonna, if Harb's gonna get that right, that might get you out of here quick.
especially next week. Especially next week. That's a hurt Bengals team. If you guys don't beat them down after this week, and if it's a close game or you lose that game, I think it has to be a coaching change somewhere. And because if the Bengals, I said in the beginning, everyone called me crazy. I didn't think the Bengals are that good, but
they're rounding in the form.
Yeah, they're starting to round out, and if they get that offensive line figured out, they may be coming for the first in AFC North. So I'd be very worried next week.
You think Harbaugh could get fired mid-season? I don't think so.
No,
he'll fire the whole coaching staff before he get fired.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So if we lose to the Bengals and then lose to the Giants, you think they still keep him?
Yes.
Yeah. McDonald will be gone.
Go.
There might be a change. Giro might be gone. Like he will cut the ball boy before before he gets fired. Trust me, he will be the last one out that door.
Right.
Yeah. Sir Burr is gonna light up that secondary next week, man. That's gonna be ugly.
I hope not, man. Somebody once told me that one of John Harbaugh's best attributes was self-preservation. A wise man once said that. He is good at it, but I feel like John Harbaugh is like and I know a lot of people do the comparisons to Brian Billick when he got his extension and then he got fired a year later. Right. But I just feel like John Harbaugh is like super safe, man. Especially with what he been there 14 years. The whole neighbor thing that's big to me too. I just feel like the Ravens just would not make that move. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. You think that the neighbors thing is really playing a factor because EDC can't fire him?
I think that's part of it. I really think that's part of it. But just the fact that they are just so super close, like, and obviously, if you've been working somewhere for 14 years, you're gonna be close with your coworkers and whatnot, with your bosses and whatnot, because you're still there. They could have fired you a long time ago, but you're still there, so you're gonna be close with them after all that time. So not even just the fact that they are neighbors and whatnot, but just the fact that they are so close and it's like family. And we see a lot of times with the Baltimore Ravens, there's a lot of there can be a lot of nepotism, a whole lot of nepotism. Mm-hmm. So with that, because a lot of times we see it's not always the best guy that gets the job, but it can be one of their guys that get the job for whatever it may be. With Mike McDonald, the jury's still out. It hasn't been good so far, but the jury's still out on him. And he was with the Ravens before, and he's just one of their guys. He went to John's brother Jim for a year, then came through again. And they interviewed the other guys too and whatnot, but that was just there was the whole Rooney Rule thing. It's just like to sort of check that off the list and what was his name? Chris Richards? Chris something.
Chris Richard, yeah.
Oh, Richard, there we go. Okay, appreciate that. But I just don't see Harbaugh going anywhere. Man, and I know he could end up being like, oh, okay, Giro, we'll fire Giro. He could end up being like, oh, we'll get rid of Mike McDonald. But even if they did that, I would just be worried that the philosophy would still be the same because we've seen it before. We've seen it. They got rid of how much offensive coordinators they done been through. And it's been a lot of the same issues.
Lot.
So it's like until they actually change the philosophy, which it has been seeming like they started to do with the passing game, but then the defense is like, whoa, what happened to that? But with the passing game, they've been passing a lot more, which I've been like, okay, let's go. I love that, but I'm not completely sold that they're changing the whole thing yet. Mm-hmm. But we'll see, man. We'll see. It's still super early. But then at the same time, even though it's super early, it's like, man, you're making these type of mistakes super early. You 14 years in, man. You're 14 years in. You've been doing this a long time. Anybody that's 14 years in and they make mistakes like that, that's scary, man. That's very scary. And you're supposed to be, again, a leader of men, a leader of the football team. And John Harbaugh, great motivator and whatnot. But the motivation is not enough. You got to get results as well. And a lot of the results, some of the results you have no control over because the players got to execute. But for what you do have control over, you got to make sure you get that right, man. So they 2-2. We'll see what happens next week on Sunday night. So the world will be watching. That's when the pressure is on for sure.
Yes.
But yeah, we'll see.
But
So is that a home game?
It
It's
is.
a home game.
Yeah.
I just looked that up. I thought it was in Cincinnati, but it's at home. So here's another. You guys just talked about you lost
The
5
Shotty.
in a row at home,
Mhm.
and now if the Bengals walk in, that's 6 in a row you lost at home.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I get where Ed Graven's talking about, like you would maybe John Harbaugh shouldn't be fired, but other than the Super Bowl in 2012, right? What really has he done?
We're not talking about should. We're saying will he be fired?
No. What I'm saying is he's saying he probably wouldn't because of what he's been there for 14 years. But what success has he really? I mean, there was a point I pointed out to a Ravens fan that you guys missed the playoffs 3 straight years, and you were about to miss the playoff when you had Lamar until he saved it. And then Rodney and you, Jose, have talked about it many times on your lunch break hot take that Lamar kind of saved them. So had Lamar not saved them, would Harbaugh still be in this team? I don't think so. So I understand that Harbaugh's tight with the owner, but at some point, you brought up Jose one time the Mike McCarthy comparison, and people didn't like that because they were saying he's average. Then you looked at Harbaugh.
100% accurate. He is Mike McCarthy. That is who he is.
And you looked at his record, and then we were talking about Tomlin, and Tomlin's a little better. Right now, Steeler fans are want Tomlin gone, even though he's never had a losing season. He's only missed the playoffs 5 years. He's only 5 times that he's been with the Steelers. Yet they want him gone since the beginning of the season. So if you're looking at it from the Baltimore side, what has Harbaugh done? He's not had he's had many losing seasons. He missed the playoffs 3 straight years in a row, and he's been under 500 a lot of times. So I get where Graven's coming from, but at the same time, as the owner, you got to look at his record, look at what he's done over the years, and say it's not really working anymore. He doesn't have the same players as an Ed Reed, a Ray Lewis to rally behind him to get the team going. So I think at some point you do gotta make that change. Now, do you wait to the end of the season? Do you do it in the middle of the season? I don't know, but it just, like I said, last year you guys were 8-3 before the injuries started piling up. This year, all I heard, best secondary, Lamar's going to be MVP, and he looks like the MVP. How do you have a player that looks like the MVP on your team, but yet you're 2-2? It's like that's crazy because you should be winning these games. So.
I'll tell you one thing. I think both fan bases, Pittsburgh and Baltimore, would be very, very happy if they just swap coaches.
You know what, Rodney? I think he would be right. I think he would be right. Just to be honest with you,
I'll take Mike Tomlin any day of the week.
Oh, absolutely. Anybody would take Mike Tomlin. You don't think Cleveland Browns would love a Mike Tomlin? You don't think? But
that's Cleveland.
Yeah, but it is Cleveland. But I'm saying. You don't think the Bengals would love Mike Tomlin, even though their quarterback or their head coach got him to the Super Bowl last year?
True.
I wonder how they feel about their coach because before that run, it wasn't looking good for her.
Yeah, that's true. Now, what do y'all think? They did say that it's not any coaching personnel decisions. That's what Cordell Woodland said. But what do y'all think the announcement tomorrow is going to be? I've seen a couple people saying, "Oh, maybe it's something for Ring of Honor." But the announcement that they're supposed to make after the press conference.
It damn well better not be no Ring of Honor announcement.
We just want to get some kudos to some people.
Like, I know the defense kind of collapsed at the end of the game there. We didn't score a point in the second half. I just wanted to say, you remember how it used to be?
Yes. So
that's what we want to do tomorrow.
My hope. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. From what I was told, Peter Boulware is supposed to be coming out of retirement.
Man, y'all gonna tell me with that from what I was talking about. Oh, hold on, what are you saying? Technically, Terrell Suggs ain't retired yet.
But have you seen Terrell Suggs? He was on
he got
FS. He was on FS1 all last week helping out. He is tiny.
Yeah,
Terrell Suggs. He's not coming back anytime soon.
Sure. I mean, we got.
Oh, hold up now! I ain't even see you sneak in like that, man.
That's what he do.
No, just
what's up, man?
Not much, man. I'm just enjoying this beautiful Sunday that we witnessed.
So,
what's the announcement going to be, Garnett? What are you got the answer to the street? Yeah. What's the announcement going to be tomorrow?
Oh, so you want to do the honors, or should it be me?
That's
No,
what
not
we're
that
talking
announcement.
No,
about.
not that.
Come on,
man.
man.
No, get with the times, bro.
Not that.
If you were actually on time, you would know what we were
The
talking
The Ravens said that they're holding a press conference tomorrow at 2:30.
Garnett a troll, man.
Hey, my bad, man. Oh, my bad. I jumped the gun a little bit. Hey, no, I don't know, man. I think it could be. I really couldn't tell you.
Got it. We're not coming to you for your opinion, man. Go on the phone, text some of the people, and come back
Work
with
the
the answer.
phones.
Oh no, man!
We need a Garnett bomb.
I like it. A Garnett bomb.
I can do that to you on live, man. You can do that.
I'm hoping. Look, we don't know what it is, but I'm hoping that maybe they got a deal done with Lamar. They said, "All right, look, we've seen enough. We don't want this to jump up to 300 mil guaranteed because that's where it's going. So let's go ahead and get it done now." I told you at the last week, if I'm a shoddy, look, I don't care. Like I'm calling Lamar. I say, come to the office. I already got the champagne ready. Call your people. Call your mom. Call Kodak Black. Call whoever. Get them over here. Right. I'm just gonna put a blank blank check there. You fill it out, and we gonna get this deal done. And let's pop some champagne because you're not going anywhere. Hopefully, that's what it is. And look, we talk about self-preservation. What will get people's minds off of this losing is if we get Lamar signed right now.
How many of y'all really believe that though?
That's what we want, but what it's gonna be is we sign Kevin Zeitler to a contract extension.
Come on, man.
And
Brandon Williams is coming back.
Something. It's gonna be something.
Listen, from what I heard, the coaching staff in Carolina has lost the locker room, and a lot of the players are very unhappy there. So we got Brian Burns and DJ Moore for you. If you got some graphics,
We'll take both of them.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Or Lamar,
and Christian McCaffrey.
You got Christian too.
No,
we'll give you all our picks.
I mean, he would fit right in with the injuries, but no.
Oh,
wow!
Come on,
Okay.
Come on, man.
I'll tell you what though. He did something that Baltimore couldn't do today. He found the end zone in the second half.
You sound real salty, B. Like,
for someone that didn't watch the game.
He sure was paying attention to it though.
Well, yeah, he was.
Right.
That's not nice, Yolanda.
Right. Ouch. you always coming for the scene. Like, why?
No, why Yolanda always only reprimanding me? I'm not the only
No.
one.
You're the one who's throwing the blows
with a straight face every time.
Hey, Garnett, didn't we say this last week? Bronny is the nicest, you know what, that we've ever met.
No.
He's so nice about it. It was just a comment that he just took. Everybody just took that personally.
Yolanda got a little anti-Panther prejudice going on. That's all right though.
No. You know Ronnie Stanley ain't going nowhere, man.
Yeah.
You know that.
Yeah, we need.
Hey man, it really might be signing a contract for all we know, man. Unless it's like a come to Jesus press conference, this is like out of nowhere.
If it's Lamar, then it's gonna leak tonight. Somebody's gonna leak it, and it's almost 8:00 and it hasn't leaked yet. I
don't think it's on Lamar's side.
Wishful thinking.
What, Chen? That's the first negative comment I've seen you post.
No, he posted. See what I'm
talking about? Ravens fans don't want me on here,
right? But in Graven, you were right. Ronnie Stanley's not going anywhere. Not even on the field.
Yeah.
Not in the locker room.
Well, listen. Our sources. Okay, he's not.
Okay, you got
shout out to Game Medicine. He's been telling us for a while. Week 6, between week 6 and 8 is what you need to target for Ronnie Stanley, and he has been spot on with his medical evaluations this whole season.
Yeah, so go hit up Game Medicine on YouTube, on Twitter. Give him a follow, give him a subscribe. You'll be more informed following him than just Jeff Z and them.
Yeah.
So, I think I said to you guys earlier, being And Jose, he's going to wait till the Giants game. He wasn't going to come back. He's like, nah, not today. It's wet. Got Von Miller. I ain't come back today.
I don't want the problems.
Sunday night, the spotlight, the Bengals. I'm gonna wait for the Giants.
How did y'all feel about Falele today? We didn't hear his name called too much. I mean, Von Miller had the one sack, but I mean, he can get that against anybody. I don't think
wasn't that on Morgan Moses though?
Was it? Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Yeah,
I think it was.
He did an outstanding job to me for a guy that first started debut. So there's nothing really to complain about whatsoever. He did his job. I
agree.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Especially not being a left tackle and coming into this team.
He's somebody. When I went to the training camp. I saw him in person. Man, he's two of me. Okay, stacked on top of each other. Like he is huge. And I told B, like, he's one of those players where, yes, he's a little raw coming into the league, but if this coach's staff is worth anything, they can make this guy a really good starting tackle in this league, whether it's left or right. So that's what I expect. I expect him to play at a high level. No, left tackle isn't his natural position. I hope they're going to switch him back to right. But his first start as a left tackle, not too shabby.
Yeah, he did okay. I think as a whole, the offensive line looked bad in the second half. I think they started the game well, but I mean, you still see them slide in protection and help to his side. What you got to do with a young guy like that? So, but he's doing solid. For somebody that hasn't played there ever. Right, so no bad thing to say, but I think as a whole, the offensive line in the second half kind of went in the tank. So it was the opposite. The week before, they gave up 4 sacks in the first half last week, and in the second half, no sacks. They looked a lot better. It was the opposite this week. First half they looked good. Second half, I think they,
But this is the roster that your general manager put together.
I mean, listen, I am a Ravens guy. He is my general manager. Now, we might not be best friends or neighbors, but
you probably know him, though.
Probably.
But going back to what Graven said, like I 100% agree. Like we lack that change of just culture and philosophy. Like, we keep like that in-house thing is cool to a certain degree, right?
For how many years?
But it wears out its welcome, right? And it does it everywhere. Everywhere you've seen that in-house thing come along, it like look in New England. I don't know what the score is right now, but it's running its course there too because they lost. Oh, they lost.
Oh, they lost.
So
27-24 in overtime.
Goal kick.
He keeps recycling his guys too, and after a while, it just runs its course. Sometimes you just need a different thought process, some new blood in there, and we don't do that. So I'm a Michigan fan, right? So watching the Michigan, I don't know how many of y'all was watching the Michigan game this weekend, but they had a graphic of showing the coaches that the brothers have shared, and it's like 6 of them. and it's just like so, there's a new guy, right? The guy who just took Mike McDonald's spot he was a former Ravens assistant coach, so they just keep this cycle going even from that part of it. So it's just we need to change up something, and I don't know how, and I don't know if that means changing the head coach or him saying, look, all right, I need to get out of my own comfort zone, listen to some other people who I'm not comfortable or used to, but we got to do something. And he has to be careful because if he doesn't get a hold of this Marcus Peters thing, right, he doesn't want to lose this locker room because that guy has a strong voice in this locker room.
Yes.
So, again, that's something that he's got to grab hold of. He claims that they have a good relationship, that they love each other. He even said today, hey, I love Marcus Peters. I hope he still loves me. Now, what that could also mean is all right, pack your bags because you're out. That could be the now. Maybe that's the announcement tomorrow. We suspended. I don't know, but he gotta get a hold of that situation as well because that didn't look good on the sideline either. But we aren't used to that.
He also claimed that Brashad Perriman was coming back any day now, right? Like we know that John Harbaugh loves to lie. I don't believe for a second that him and Marcus Peters are good half an hour after he was coming at you on the sidelines.
Mm-hmm. Peters might still love him. He may not respect him.
Yeah. Right. Peters thought he was still in Oakland the way that he was coming after him.
And he's been calm. He's been calm since he's gotten here, right?
No issues.
Yeah, this is the first time we've seen that side of him here in Baltimore. So
But how were you good already though? Like, did you resign? Did you fire McDonald? Did anything at all change? So how are you fine?
I listen, I hope that, and Marcus Peters seemed like that type of guy that, hey, coach, my bad. I had a, but I ain't appreciate X, Y, and Z. I would hope that they could have that type of conversation. He seems like that type of dude after he calms down. So as Ravens fans, we need to hope that's what happened and that he's not on a Zoom call with the rest of the team like, hey man, listen, we gotta get dude out of here. Hopefully that's not what's going on. So
is that the press conference tomorrow?
You're up.
Oh, you know what the press conference is tomorrow? It's gonna be the Gus is coming back.
I hope not, man.
I mean,
is he off the pup list?
Next 4 weeks, so he could.
Yeah, 4 weeks is up.
He could return.
So he's eligible. Bowser, Charlie Cola.
That sounds like a whole lot of nothing to me, honestly.
we need something out of them, man.
No, Bowser is a really solid player. So that'll help. That'll help. He's a good.
Bowser will help a lot, I think. Bowser will help a lot.
Gus Edwards.
Gus,
the academic Heisman guy. I don't.
I think Gus Edwards helps too. I think he helps.
He'll help if Justice Hill can't go. Right. Yeah. Like if Justice Hill turns out that he's all right and he can play, Gus Edwards ain't doing nothing.
What? No, yeah, Gus will definitely help because he's better than Mike Davis.
Much better.
I think the thing with Gus is it's been weird though, because with Gus, it's like the Ravens have been holding him back intentionally, in my opinion, to keep his dollars down. Because he came on the scene as an undrafted rookie free agent. I think it was in 2018 with Lamar too. I think.
Yep.
Yeah, you were.
He came on the scene, undrafted free agent, did his thing, and he continued to show like, hey, he could run the ball. But then when he would get hot, they'd be like, all right, come out. And then with his carries, they would be limited. Even games where he would have this high average per rush, he would be limited. And they did this like every year. And then it was time they signed him to a contract extension, 2 years ago? And they signed him to like a 3-year, $15 million contract extension. So like $5 million per. Or 5.5 mil per, something super low.
That.
And it's like, man, it just gave you a nice little reminder of the business, man. Because if you have a player and you keep their numbers down, when it's contract talk time, it's like, hey, look what you did. Look how low your numbers were. You think you a number one back? Well, what are those numbers?
Right.
But with Gus, I don't think he'll ever get a chance to be the number one back for the Ravens, because that's obviously going to be J.K. and that's what they envision J.K. to be. Especially since they spent a draft pick on him. They got Gus for free. But with Gus, I think he'll certainly help. Just like JK has helped some. JK helps because he got a little 2 touchdowns today, which was nice. Definitely. Got and he just brought this energy, and it's like with the energy is obviously not enough. You got to be able to play. But JK, it was one play today where he 9 times out of 10 for any Ravens running backs that we had before this year, it would be a tackle for no gain or maybe even a loss. But there was a play where J.K. Dobbins, he took the handoff and he got hit in the backfield, but then he made this extra move and dove and put the ball forward and ended up getting the first down. Something like that I just didn't see our other running backs doing, because they I thought I saw something that said the Ravens suffered, but I thought it was about an injury, but it was about them losing. So same old stuff. But anyway, Gus will definitely help. He'll help because J.K. helped. Justice Hill I think he's still been the best running back for the Ravens this year. But now he's gone for who knows how long. To me, it just looked like cramps, but I don't think we saw him for the rest of the game, did we?
No. I don't think he came back. But see, my thing with Gus and Justice Hill and all these guys is, now J.K. is one thing, right? J.K. is a very talented back. He was a very highly thought of prospect coming out of college, out of Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
We win the second round. Everybody knows how talented J.K. is, and he had that kind of potential to be, maybe a special player, right? We'll see if he gets back there after the injury. But with the other guys, I can't look at Gus Edwards, like his yards per carry and stuff like that, because they do have a system that produces good rushing numbers, right? Mark Ingram showed up, he went over 1,000 yards. Gus Edwards is out there, he gives his 700 yards at 5 yards a carry every year. Justice Hill, I mean, even in his limited carries, is going 5 yards a carry, right? And at some point it's just, the team is kind of producing that. It's like the same thing with the 49ers. No matter who they put in a running back over there, they seem to go off, right? Mm-hmm. Not to say that Gus can't play at all. I just think that he's kind of just a guy, right?
See, go ahead.
Sorry. No, you go ahead.
Initially, I remember especially last year, because of all the injuries to J.K. and Gus and Justice Hill, I was thinking, all right, we got Lamar, so we'll be straight. This is the Baltimore Ravens. They are a rushing team. Whoever they put back there will be straight. But we saw last year, like with Latavius Murray, with Devontae Freeman early on. After a while in the season, he got better, but it was still.
Yeah, they dug up a couple corpses.
Le'Veon Bell, they cut bait with him like quick. They were like he was in and out. But even this year, I don't think it's a coincidence that the running backs that have been there longer, that are more familiar with the system, they've looked better than a Mike Davis, than a Kenyon Drake when he played. But Justice Hill, he's looked better than those guys. And I know it's an easy comparison for Justice Hill and J.K. to look better than those guys, but still, those guys, they did have Lamar back there. Kenyon Drake was back there with Lamar. Mike Davis was back there with Lamar, and they just couldn't do nothing, like nothing. But Justice Hill and J.K., they've been able to get a little more juice out of the running game than those other guys. So that's why I expect Gus to be able to contribute whenever he is fully healthy and whatnot.
Yeah.
For sure. I'm just saying, when you had Devontae and Latavius and, the O-line wasn't as good, they were still going out there over 4 yards a carry, right? But those guys are obviously guys who were at the end. They're past their prime. They're kind of at the end, but they were even able to squeeze some production out of them. It was a little difficult for a while, but they got there, right? So, I mean, what I was saying is just that, if Justice Hill comes back, I don't think that Gus coming back really makes any difference. I think that Justice is a more impactful runner than Gus is.
Oh, that's
how?
Did you say how or
I said ow.
Oh, well, that's,
you've never
he moves at a different speed than all the other Ravens running backs, right?
Yeah, he does.
Gus is more of JK. You know what I mean? So yeah, he'll go out there and he'll run and he'll get the same numbers he's been getting for 4 years. I just don't think it moves the needle as much as a healthy Justice Hill would, who can kind of be a little more of like a home run hitter potentially.
Right.
That hasn't been.
Yeah, for me, if you guys don't mind me telling, I think like for Gus, like in my perception of Gus is the type of guy that can, bounce off of a would-be tackler and probably proceed for another 3, 4, 5 yards if he stays on his feet or whatever. I feel like we just don't have that banger type of running back that can receive contact and keep it going. Like the two other guys are like basically scat backs that can they can take a little contact and move, do what they can do, and probably hit on a run if they can hit the hole right and hit the burst right when it comes to the JK and Justice. But before pre-injury, Gus was that dude that could literally. I'm not saying he was a top 10 bag, and I would never say that because I don't want to be quoted as that, or I don't want to say it. But he was just a good, nice turn, a good second back, I should say. Like
change of pace.
change your pace back. He was just good. And so, for me, when it comes to injuries, I've never been the type of dude to be like, hey, yeah, when he gets back, he's gonna be, better than ever, or he's gonna be the same guy. We just don't know. It's the point for the same thing with the whole JK. I'm still shocked that JK is doing what JK is doing right now due to the severity of his injury, right? So, like with the whole Gus thing is like how Coach said it in the chat, it's a show me. The whole Missouri, the show me state. Like I just gotta see Gus Will Slide before I even say anything about him.
Right.
Yeah. Too bad, Coach. Too bad.
And then and Gus also is that north south guy, right? And to your point, Garnett, like he's that fall forward guy too. I've never seen him get hit and like fall, get rocked and fall back. He's that, I'm whatever happens, however hard you hit me, I'm falling forward and I'm getting that extra yard. So like you said, he's a good 1-2 punch type of guy, right?
And Bronny, before you respond, Coach, George had 102 yards today. We're not using them. Trubisky wasn't using them. I can tell you that.
So and that question for you, Shug, is that it for Mitch? Is he gonna get his job back, or is
no, he can't. If they put Mitch at starting quarterback for the next game, he'll absolutely Tom will lose probably the team and the fans. Because
Hendo, the Big Reg has a question for Garnet there.
I saw it. I didn't want to
Oh, here we go. Excuse me, as his lawyer, I object. Okay,
I object.
Okay, we've already discussed this. All right, we can no longer
can't bring it up.
this as evidence. Okay, we have absolved Garnett.
No, we haven't.
At that comparison. All right.
No, we haven't.
Look, man.
Yeah.
When it comes out to it, look, the coaching staff's got to tighten things up. Right, like we keep talking about what they're missing and what they're lacking, but the fact is, this is the team that they wanted. They put this team together. They purposely did not go after, anybody trades or make a hard push in free agency for anybody. They decided to sit on all 11 of their picks because they're going to use all their draft picks. They decided this is what they want to do. They decided we're not going to use one of our top picks or even trade up to try to get one of these tackles because our tackle isn't close to being ready, right? We're going to spend it on a safety. I didn't even hear Kyle Hamilton's name today. But we're making these picks on guys. We're relying on second-year guys and third-year guys to step up, and they're not doing it. But this team has been saying the whole time, we believe in them. We believe in our way. When they zig, everybody zigs, we zag, and we're gonna play our style football. And when it came down to it at the end, we were arguing on our show earlier whether they should kick the field goal or not. But the way they designed this team, they should kick the field goal because they keep on saying our defense will hold them. But when push came to shove, you found out what they're really about. They don't really believe in the defense either. So,
nor should they.
No. Yes, $43 million put into this secondary. I will admit, I will say that I was wrong. I have said that Marlowe has been on a decline since 2019. Ever since he signed a big contract, he's been on a decline. But so far this year, I think he's played a lot better.
Yeah,
and I'm sure it has a lot to do with MP being on the field. It kind of gives him confidence to do his thing. Was he worth $98 million? I don't know. I can't say.
That's Marlowe hopping up in the air behind you on that touchdown run. I just thought that was fantastic timing. I don't know if you planned that or anything,
but I think that speaks to our point. Hashtag defund the defense. If you can't see it, hashtag defund the defense. But that speaks to the point. Yes, Marlowe's is. I think he's good. Obviously, we all think MP is good. We think the players in the secondary are good, but at the end of the day, they're not going to be the ones that are asked to win the game. it's always going to be put on the shoulders of Lamar. And what kind of supporting cast does Lamar have? Right? Like Rashad Bateman, Mark Andrews. We got Devin Duvernay. Like it's just not enough when we're talking about what we need to win. We need
Jose,
to put on
what
Lamar.
are you talking about? That receiving core is as good as KC.
See.
So I have a question for Garnett.
Uh-oh.
What you mean? Oh, no, I just got a question for you because you're plugged in. You know a lot of stuff about the Ravens. My question is, what happened to Ravens saver Isaiah Likely?
Oh,
Who's that?
Isaiah Likely? Did he play today?
I don't know.
Did.
What that is.
I saw him go in motion one play.
And the ball hit him in the thigh. But he did.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Like it. I'm just somewhat confused on like here's the thing about it. This is the crazy thing. Like, not to like revert the question, but like today to me when I'm watching the offensive game, like Greg really didn't call a bad game. In my opinion, he really didn't call a bad game. There was a lot of drop balls, a lot of mistakes, just poor execution. Bateman, I think he had like 2 critical drops.
Mark Evans is here.
Mark Evans, I like it. Oh man. Hey, but I was supposed to comment on what I'm about to say. But when it came down to the play, it was more about execution more than the play calling to me. Like just the drive by Bateman. Even with Lamar missing, he missed a he missed a freaking layup to Mark Andrews on that beautiful out and up that he did on the sideline. It was there. Like if you think about this whole game, it was just a lot of things. Like if Lamar would have completed that pass, boom. If Bateman would have caught that third down play, we would have been out of there. If Patrick Queen would have used these hands and caught that ball, we could have probably been out of there. Like there's so many things about this game where if we went certain ways, we would have been out of there. We would have been clearly out of there.
But in the eyes of most, Garnett, I want to ask you this. In the eyes of most, like what do you think out of all those places you named, what do you think is going to be the one that most people are going to harp on?
To be honest with you, as crazy as it sounds, it's probably gonna be the Queen one. Like I know people I know a lot of people. Some people are gonna say Lamar, but
I think most people will look at that miss Lamar pass. What's up, Coach?
I just want all those plays going that say it. To me, the biggest play is the missed pass interference call. The whole game swung in. All the momentum that we thought we had out the door.
I didn't like that late hit on the late hit call either.
Yeah, that late hit call was horrible. Horrible. That was a really bad call. Really bad call.
But
Josh Allen and Mac Jones are notorious for blocking right now.
Now, that roughing the passer, you thought that was a legit call?
Look, I thought that he came rushing in, right? And Allen threw the ball, and he stopped, and then he hit him.
Yeah,
and I think you can't do that.
He didn't stop. He broke down. There's a difference.
Okay.
He broke down, but he didn't go like this.
He slowed himself all the way down, right?
I mean,
Allen flopped.
He literally delayed the pass, and
and I think the hit. I mean, even with him breaking down or stopping, right, and the contact still wasn't like a whole bunch of minutes after the play. Like it was still bang bang at that point, in my opinion. It was just it was a soft call to me. They could have got it. It was very, very soft. And I'm not saying that changed the outcome of the game, but that was a bad call.
It was a horrible call.
I'll say this: if the Tua incident, I'm not trying to bring up the Tua stuff, but I want to think about how the NFL works. If the Tua incident never really happened, like how it happened, everybody's been on. I've been watching the games all day long. Everybody's been on high. Where when a quarterback gets touched, it's like boom, flag immediately. So that's how I somewhat viewed that whole situation. Where I got to protect the quarterback because we're in a situation.
Your quarterback didn't get protected.
What's up?
Your quarterback didn't get protected today.
He's not the right color.
Right.
I'm just saying because he said he watched all the games, but our quarterback is a quarterback just like Allen.
Because he's Lamar Jackson.
But is he not a quarterback?
He is a quarterback. He's not a quarterback just like Josh Allen, though.
Right.
He's a
But
quarterback
people fail to
who's
realize
different
that
in a
Allen
very
runs
significant
just
way.
as much, if not more than Lamar.
He do.
Yeah.
But he's Lamar Jackson.
But it was the same thing with Cam. Cam plays the exact same style as Josh Allen, and they didn't protect Cam either, right? There's a difference. There's a difference between those guys and Josh Allen.
Yeah. And the other one.
I will say that to Garner's point, though, the thing that's interesting about that is you're talking about. We were talking about Harbaugh earlier, and how they always like to keep hiring in house because those guys kind of they fall in line, right? They know the program, they stick with the program, they're not going to get out of line, and you don't hire somebody who could take your job, kind of thing, right?
Right.
And when you bring in guys who are not going to execute, guess what you can always do? You can always stand up at the podium and say, "Man, this one's on the players. You got to execute," and it never has to be your fault,
right?
So, I mean, like I hear what you're saying about you got to make some plays, but you got to get some players who will make the plays.
Facts.
They refuse to do it.
Facts.
Like we can talk about Rashad Bateman dropping the ball all the time,
3 times,
but you put a guy with 5 career games as your number 1 wide receiver. You did that.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
don't come complaining to me.
He had a great release, great off the ball, wide open, straight drop.
Wide open.
Yeah.
But I don't know if y'all noticed, but after that drop, other than Mark Andrews, not a receiver went out there had gloves on.
It's more than just the drops, right? Because again, we watched Jalen Waddle drop 5 passes against us, and I don't remember a single drop. I just remember all the big plays that he had against us, right?
Did he really?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't remember him dropping.
Right. Exactly. When somebody said 5 drops, I was like, when? Like when he was like when he was striking the ball after a touchdown.
I know he caught 10. I know he caught 10 for like 170.
170.
It
Graven looked like he dropped.
No, because I don't remember not one drop from Jalen Waddle that week.
I don't remember either. But he had 5 drops in that game. Of course, we don't remember it because he crushed us, right? Like it's the lack of explosive plays to mitigate those drops.
Yeah.
Those things stand out so much to us now because our offense is lacking so much. If we don't play perfect, if Lamar doesn't play perfect, it stands out. It's like, oh well, there goes our shot, right? So that's why I keep saying, like, you gotta have that talent to mitigate this, this anemic offense. So,
or the coach and the coach above it, and we have neither.
George Pickens ain't dropping the ball. And coincidentally, David Ajabo ain't sacking nobody. So I don't know, man.
I was going to say we have David Ajabo. We don't need George Pickens.
Yeah,
man, cut this off.
Listen, I honestly thought coach was gonna be like, listen, but let me defend him for a second. I honestly thought that you were gonna go there.
Bro, y'all don't understand. Y'all don't know how me
today was the straw.
Me and coach got so drunk on that last spiel after that pick. We was toasted. We were that mad, bro.
Bro, I've been a different person since that pick.
Your born again moment.
So I just want to know, how do y'all really feel about this last draft? Because I know I had people sending me hate mail because I said this draft wasn't that good. How do y'all feel?
I think it was a potential draft. Nothing impactful. Nothing that's going to help us in this year other than maybe Linderbaum. And route, well, I say that, but what's probably going to help us? The right tackle that's playing left tackle.
Falele.
And that's probably been the most underrated or surprising situation because if I'm not mistaken, he's never played left tackle other than
ever.
Yeah, they
the last 2 games.
Yeah.
And I know they're helping him. So I can't just say he balled out. They're helping him. But you didn't call his name.
Hey, coach, they helped Alejandro Villanueva, and it still didn't help. So I think he's doing well right now.
I wasn't finna crap on him. I just was saying I'm impressed with what he's done so far.
Yes, sir.
He's been put in an impossible situation, and he's handling his business. And there are times where he wasn't being helped, and I honestly, and this may not be a popular opinion, but I think Von Miller went to the other side to get away from him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And not that Von couldn't beat him. It's just when he did get his hands on him, Von couldn't get away from him.
You know.
Yeah.
Because with those guys, like technique and all that matters and everything, right? And experience is a thing, but he's so massive that if he grabs you, you're probably not going anywhere.
Von was spinning on his left side just to be on his right side.
That's why I always love those kind of picks. That's why I wanted Carolina to draft Orlando Brown so badly. I'm like, even if he doesn't turn out to be that skilled of a tackle, like it's going to take you a while to run around him at least.
Mm-hmm. And he can lean on you in offense. I mean, in the run game.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah, I'm the same way with Coach about this draft class. I feel like it's like how Coach says, it's a potential base, but at the same time, like you have to have the right coaches to unlock the potential. Like us drafting two tight ends, it was basically for Greg Roman purposes, but at the same time, like we'll see what we're gonna do with them. You know what I mean? And then the punter in the 4th round, I get it. I get it, but at the same time,
he didn't shank one today, Hendo.
But you know what's really
I was
cool
watching.
Carolina got one of the best punters in the league, and they didn't spend a draft pick. They just they signed him in free agency because they're just kickers out there.
Well, when you have 11 picks, you really don't know what to do with all of them.
Am I the only one?
You shouldn't have 11.
Am I the only one that watches scrutinizes every pick from this kid? Like every time he's out there, I'm like, all right, 4th round, what we got? Like, we spent a pick on you.
Yeah.
At least it's not like Jacksonville, who took that punter in the 3rd round ahead of Russell Wilson. At least
Anger. His name was Anger.
Brian Anger.
Yeah.
Listen,
I've been watching. Look, we said it on the round table. I got my out because that was supposedly the can't miss. That's going to be the best pick of that draft.
Right.
I had my eye on him. He looked good this week.
Yeah.
Hey, Coach, I just want to explain. Listen, let me explain one thing because I know that people feel like I'm really hard on these Ravens players, and I actually had to sit back this week and think, am I really just rough on them dudes? Like, am I going too far with it? And I was like, you know what? I probably am.
Yes, you are.
I probably am. And I had to ask myself, well, why are you so hard on these guys? And I found out with self-actualization that I'm really hard on these players because of the potential that those picks posted for helping out Lamar.
Mm-hmm.
Ever since
I just talked about that to my kids 2 weeks ago. Self-actualization. Great word.
Yes, sir. And the picks that we could have used to make Lamar's job easier and done things for him. So since everybody told me that these picks were for Lamar and it was going to help Lamar out, I expect them to live up to that expectation and expect them to live up to that villain, and they don't. And I think that's why I'm so hard on them, because you're not making Lamar's life any easier.
Hey, best tight end in the league just scored a touchdown.
Who that
I
is?
thought Andrew's over it.
No, it's Travis Kelce.
Andrew's over it.
So no, but look, the real question is this for you guys, and I really want y'all honest opinion, because we said this on the round table, right? When we did the very first one, Coach, we talked about when we went position by position, and we said that look, when we got to wide receiver, we said, hey, we're not confident, we're not comfortable with that group, and the issue will be if one of those guys goes down, what's going to happen, right?
Yep, we sure did.
So we see it. We see Bateman. We see our number one in a boot. What are we going to do? Like, what's the answer now? Like,
I answered that already.
What's that?
Pro time.
O'Shea time.
Oh, it's pro. Okay. It's pro.
Nah, for real though. No trolling. We got to go get somebody. We got. I don't even know who out there, so I'm probably just saying that.
I mean, because it's T.Y. Hilton, it's Will Fuller, OBJ, but he's obviously not ready to play yet. I don't think.
If it's T.Y.
it has to be a trade.
Fuller, you might as well call me.
I would pay money to see that.
It has to come through trade. We have to look to see who's willing to give up somebody who might be looking to make a change.
Man,
it has to be a trade.
It better not be a wide receiver like Jalen Reagor, like they were trying to trade for before.
I'm glad we didn't do it.
The situation, like literally, I don't know how y'all feel about the guy, but it leads back to like Denzel Mims in New York, the Jets.
I'm looking. I'll tell you, I have a name for you. I have a name. You guys want a name?
Yes,
Curtis Samuel on Washington.
Oh, from Washington.
I'll take him.
I'll take that
Yes.
one too. I'll take that one too. But
do y'all think that that the Ravens would give up assets to get a receiver though? I
No.
just don't see that happening.
yeah.
I don't see that happening because of how this offseason went. They
Right.
went into this
Too much.
offseason knowing the situation and knowing the guys that they did have and knowing the guys that they traded away. And they didn't go hard for a receiver like that. And the first guy that they got was DeMarcus Robinson, who got cut from the Raiders.
Right.
So I don't see them giving up no draft picks to get a receiver.
Yeah,
According to a couple of Ravens, Raiders YouTubers, the other receivers they got were way better than Robinson.
Yeah.
Yo, so
According to them.
go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I heard Robinson was gonna make a difference because he had played with Patrick Mahomes and
He won a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
He
so
won a-
I heard Robinson was gonna be your probably number one from what I had heard.
Jose.
It was gonna be Robinson, Prochet,
What's
and
up?
Bateman. That's what I heard.
Earlier today you said that if you wanted to troll, you had to pay to troll. I
Yes.
did not see a super chat come through there to allow Suge and me to talk.
Hey,
Suge, and Suge is the model citizen for paid trolling. I don't know what's going on with you today, Suge.
Look at
You-
look at I will pay for Panthers content. I will not pay for Ravens. That's all I got to say.
But I think if they go out there and they trade for a wide receiver like Curtis Samuel on that level, after they sat on their hands when Tyreek Hill and Devontae Adams were available and potentially Deebo Samuel, AJ Brown,
And George
you know, George and DK Metcalf. I mean, listen, you're not going to hear the end of it. Like you planted your flag on Prochet and Tylen Wallace and Devin Duvernay. That's what it's got to be. You can go back and sign one of those. It was Slade Bolden. You can go, but you can call Riley Webb
Benjamin
back
Victor.
up. You know, so
Jamal Williams.
Victor, somebody. But
So
Do you guys want Boykins back?
no,
Sure.
Yeah.
no, so this is where
At least
I'm
he
glad
blocked
Raven-
on the head.
No, I'm glad Engraver said this because basically, this is why I'm so like curious about the off season because we only got 7 draft picks, natural draft picks.
only that's how many teams get.
No. Yeah, of course, no crap. I get.
You only have the proper amount of draft picks.
Right.
Yeah, but like, literally, how the
Damn
Ravens
Ravens,
always
man.
operate, since I couldn't finish it, they always have more than the natural 7. So with that being said, you think about this with the offseason. You only owe Lamar, you only owe MP, depending on what happens after the night. I don't know if you're going to owe him anymore.
Hey.
But when it comes to that, literally, where do we sit as for the all season? Like, hey, you either are you gonna move up in the draft to go get a receiver? Probably not. Or
Cornerback.
What's up?
They're going to get a cornerback.
Or another kicker.
Yeah, okay, well, yeah, probably. But I'm just saying, like, when it comes to the whole scenario of like, basically, are you willing to trade future assets, like future draft picks, to go get somebody? No, because we know how they are frugal about the draft picks. Okay. What about the offseason? Are you willing to go pay for a receiver? So it's got to be a give somewhere in this process. That's what I'm saying. This offseason.
Not from this front office.
And that's to Engraven's point though. Like they have to, you got to change some of the ways that you move, and that's a good start, right? We love to hoard our draft picks. It's time to like check. I was praying that this past draft that they would have packaged some of those 4th round picks and moved up into the draft, moved up and got who they really wanted. They're going to have to, like we said, Curtis Samuel, what they need to be doing is calling about McLaurin and calling about Metcalf. They need to, you need to show number 8 that you willing to bring him another Ferrari alongside of him.
Yeah. Who hasn't won a game? Look at that roster and see if they got.
Well, the Raiders just won. They just won.
Nobody's really gonna move off something unless it's dire right now. So it's gonna have to maybe week 6 or 7 before we can get a real receiver in here.
Well, I'm looking at Washington because it's been looking bad for them. Like they're looking like they're not really gonna compete this year. They might be willing to move. Like they just drafted Jahan Dotson, right? They just re-up Terry McLaurin. So like Curtis Samuel is a prime target.
But Curtis Samuel
candidate.
is Ron's guy.
He is,
and Curtis Samuel is high in the targets too. Because I'm in this not so gentleman-like league. I was looking for people, doing research. And he's a high target guy too. So I don't know if they're gonna move on him.
So shout out to Coach for winning a game without a QB.
quarterback.
That is impressive.
That was weeks ago.
That is impressive.
Let's move on.
No, don't take my flowers, buddy.
I offered Coach Geno Smith when he came into the league. He shot that down. But
hey, Coach, I got Russell Wilson if you want him.
I'm waiting on next year.
Okay.
And I'm waiting on Watson. I'm like B said, don't let me be close in week 12 when Watson come back.
That's true. Look,
don't let me be in playoff contention.
Houston is 0-3-1.
We won't, Coach. We won't.
Look, straight face. With a straight face.
Listen, Houston is 0-3-1. We could go out and get Brandon Cooks.
There you go.
You know what's funny about that look? You know what's funny about the look?
B had to point this out to me too. Everybody does this to Brandon Cooks, but look at his numbers. He always goes over 1,000 yards, no matter who his quarterback is.
I mean, listen, he's been on like 5 teams. He might be the best receiver in the NFL. He goes over 1,000 yards, no matter what. No matter
he's the most consistent wide receiver in the league, and nobody wants him.
Ravens fans. Throwing the Devin Duvernay and Tylan Wallace are turning up your nose at Brandon Cooks.
No, thank you.
Why don't you like Brandon Cooks, Graven?
I don't dislike Brandon Cooks. I just don't think what we call offensively suits what he does. If we were a high IQ route combo type team, Brandon Cooks would fit fine. But for what we do, we need guys that can go over top of people because we're not getting open. We running basic stuff. We need guys with big catch radiuses because we're not running these complex route combinations. So, I like Brandon Cooks and he does good stuff, but for what we do offensively, I just don't think he would fit.
But Coach,
and he might, but that's my 2 cents.
I got you, but Coach, look at what we got though.
It'll be the same person. Him and Duvernay the same person, body wise.
Cooks and Duvernay? No.
We do.
Body wise.
I mean, look, they might be the same size. They ain't the same person.
Oh no, they're not. No, Cooks' routes and everything is better. I agree. I'm just saying. But his skill set, for the way he run routes, the offense would have to be different. And the stuff that Cooks will be good at, we already got somebody to run them routes, and he gonna throw it to him every time.
But he don't do well.
No, I'm talking about Andrews. Cooks is a deep post, a deep over guy.
Where was
guy?
Where was Mark in the second half when you needed him?
Now I will say, like I said, I mentioned in my live stream, the Bills did a good job on Mark. They did a good job on Mark, and they left it open for somebody else to step up, and nobody did.
Like Brandon Cooks.
So somebody in the chat brought up Brandon Cooks' injury history. Said that's the reason why you don't want to get him. There's only been one season where he hasn't gone over 1,000 yards so far.
Right.
That's in 2019.
Did Cooks go over 1,000 yards with 3 different quarterbacks one time? Did he do that?
Who?
Cook.
He's went over 1,000 yards.
In the same season?
Yeah, I think
possibly.
Yeah,
it might have been Hopkins. One of them.
No, Hopkins.
That's Hopkins.
Okay, that was Hopkins. My bad. Cooks might have been still in Arizona then, I think, or wherever he was.
He was with the
Saints or whatever.
He was with the Rams, the Saints, the Patriots.
Rams. That's what it was.
Yeah.
I mean, he might fit. Now, I'm projecting right now, but he could fit. But
he's still better than anything we got.
True.
It depends on what he costs. Like I'm willing to push all the chips,
Mike,
to the table. We can get a true stud, and I'm not saying that he can't play because he can, but I want to see a true stud here.
Hey,
right?
Mike,
you know what I mean?
Mike, my guy. I understand you the cost of it all, but what are we doing with those draft picks?
No, I mean what I'm saying. So my point is,
that's what he's saying. He's saying
don't wait. Don't get somebody that you know is going to be here and that you can pair with your guy for years to come, right? So I'm saying take those draft picks that you would even send for Cooks, package them and put them in that box that I talked about, and then go to the next year's draft and put a couple from there in that box, and throw a player or two in that box and go get a Metcalf or Scary Terry or a baller. We need a baller, man.
You see,
go ahead.
Not just temporary. I see what you're saying.
Go ahead.
I got you.
Well, what you were saying,
I think that would be great. I've been wanting the same thing myself, but then I think about what the Ravens could possibly be thinking about as far as the future. You talked about how they should go for a wide receiver that will be here for the future. So you could pair him with Lamar for the future. But what if for the future you're not certain that you're gonna even have Lamar Jackson?
I think that's on them. You know,
Right.
I think him being here is solely on their side of the table.
If you're EDC, you can't think that way because you don't have a future without Lamar. Like you may not get fired right away, but your time will be coming shortly thereafter.
A year or two after.
So I'm not operating as if Lamar ain't gonna be here, because if he's not gonna be here, I probably won't be here either. I won't want to be there if I'm being honest, right?
Yeah.
If I'm trying to get this deal done, I told you this before too. If I'm trying to get this deal done, and Bisciotti's the one that's holding up, he don't want to pay the money, I might even threaten to resign. Say, hey, look, if we're not going to get this done, I'll go ahead and just quit now, because I don't want my name to be tied to this debacle.
100%.
I feel you.
And in the mindset of bringing in a guy like that, even if Lamar is in his mind, he's thinking, you know what, I don't know if I want to be here. You gotta show. I think that's a way of showing him that, okay, look, we're all in, man. Like we gonna bring these. We know we haven't given you the weapons that you need, but we gonna do that now, and that's what we, So it's a way to show him, even if he's thinking, like, all right, look, I don't know if I want to be here, but I feel like as far as locking him up, I feel like that's on the team. They know what he wants, so if they're gonna pay it, the question is if they're gonna pay it or not. But if they don't think they're gonna pay it, then I agree with you. Then Engraven, then hey, let's keep these picks.
I don't think that's a good way to move at all.
Right.
But I just think that's what their thought process is.
But shouldn't they? I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, but shouldn't they also be thinking, if we don't get him these weapons, he's not gonna want to be here?
Like every other receiver that we've tried to sign.
We always try to sign somebody.
Who have they tried to sign?
Man, we tried to get DeAndre Hopkins.
You want to go down the list?
Listen,
Yeah, but start with the good ones.
Right, Diggs and
Hopkins.
They ain't trying to get them. Man.
You
Like,
sure?
no, I am 100% sure.
We were interested.
It was the same. It was the same thing with who were those guys? Corey Davis, John Ross, and them, right? And they're like, oh man, we wanted those guys, but they went way higher than we thought. Okay. Then this year, Olave, Garrett,
I didn't mean
all them.
I didn't mean drafting, B. I meant like potentially trading or signing. I didn't mean drafting.
No. I'm saying, but my point is that they're liars.
they are.
They lie about wanting to get those guys in the draft. You didn't know all those top wide receivers were going to go before your.
It's the equivalent, right, of me hitting up Mikey on our fantasy football league. Say, Mikey, what do you want?
My name wrong?
It's equivalent to saying, hey, Mikey, what do you want for this player? And Mikey tells me what he wants. I'm like, oh, okay, never mind, right?
Yeah.
And then I go let Jess Rabick know, hey, I tried, right? I was interested, right? But it just couldn't happen.
Listen.
It wouldn't take these two bananas for DeAndre Hopkins. So I tried.
And this may not be the best thing, but the Miami Dolphins traded Devontae Parker and a 5th round pick to New England for a 3rd. They gave them a 5th round pick with him, and we still was like, yeah, we good.
Yeah. And Ravens fans look at him and be like, hey, it's Devontae Parker. He ain't good. And then he dropped 150 on you.
Hey, but we signed DeMarcus Robinson from free agency after he got cut, though. So we're good, right?
From the Raiders.
Yes, sir.
See, and DeMarcus Robinson, he was making an impact in those first 2 games. I remember the first game against the Jets, he drew this big pass interference call that set up, I think, Duvernay's first touchdown.
Right.
And then in the Dolphins game, he called a touchdown. But then last week in the Patriots, I think he was pretty quiet. And then in this game, I think he just had like a catch.
It's normal.
So,
yeah, he's one of those guys that's not going to contribute consistently, but he'll show up every now and then. Give you a little something.
I think that's what the expectation is for him, is for him from the Ravens. I don't think they expected him. All right, every single game you're gonna be making plays. I think they were hoping that's how it will be for Bateman and Duvernay. and it had been for the most part before today. So yep.
Who would move the needle, or what needs to happen for us to move the needle to that next level?
Get a new coach.
It has to be a top five.
They had several chances to move the needle this offseason, and they didn't want to do it. You know, Tyreek moves the needle, Devontae moves the needle, AJ Brown moves the needle, DK Metcalf moves the needle, Terry McLaurin moves the needle, Deebo Samuel moves the needle.
Did Hendo say get a new coach?
A new head coach.
Okay, you did say that.
Take this out, B.
Yes.
All those guys you named, great wide receivers in their own right, correct? Because of what we run offensively, they weren't interested in us.
It doesn't matter.
Now maybe next year we can get some guys in because of the maturation of the passing game and whatnot.
Well,
but what we did in previous years, I wouldn't want to come play in that, especially
yeah. But coach, here's the thing about that, right? Fire your coach. What you do on offense doesn't work. It does not work.
But okay, but let's talk about this year. Let's talk about this year. Let's talk about what works, right?
How many points did they score in the playoffs in 19?
If we don't throw that pick on the goal line, we win that game.
How many points did they score in the playoffs in 19?
I'm not sure. Not a lot, B.
They scored 12.
12
in the playoffs.
The game you're talking about, I believe, was the Bills game, right?
Yeah, it was the Bills game.
They scored 3.
They scored 3.
They scored 3. It has never worked.
So all right. So let's fast forward to this offseason, right? Because I want to touch on what Coach Evans said, right? We had 2 wide receivers that wanted to leave their teams. You had Deebo Samuels who wanted to leave his team because he said, look, man, I don't like this offense. I don't like being used as a running back. I don't like the way I'm being used. I don't want to stay here. What happened? They re-signed him. You had DK Metcalf.
He running.
Yeah,
he's doing in the backfield.
Running.
You had DK Metcalf who, he didn't officially come out and ask for a trade, but there's a lot of talk that he didn't want to be there. The expectation was he was going to get traded, and what happened? They worked it out and they signed him. These players, sure, they might have preferences as to where they would like to go, but in the end, if you pay them well, they'll play ball, right? It's the same thing with Hollywood. Like, yes, Hollywood's saying, yeah, he asked for a trade, but I guarantee you, if we came to him with a contract that said, hey, $20 million per year for 4 years, he's signing, right? So we're not even making an effort. And I've seen that a lot under the EDC regime, is that talented players that, the few that we do have, the minute they say, hey, pay me while I'm gone, or I'm not really certain about this team, they're like, okay, well, go ahead, because we don't want to pay you. You don't want to pay Orlando Brown. He's still under a rookie contract. That's insane, right? You don't want to pay Orlando Brown, so let's just ship him out, right?
And a second round pick.
Right. So like that's the issue right there. We're not attempting to acquire these guys because we don't value those positions until things like today happen, right? Where we can't answer, we don't have an answer for what the other team is doing, and then we want to say, oh well, like we guys need to step up, or we don't quite have the firepower. But this is the team that you wanted. This isn't a mistake. This isn't injuries that we're seeing right now. This is the team that you handpicked, right? So again, like Coach getting mad about the field goal, I totally get it. Right, you said this team, this defense can hold it down. So kick the field goal and let them do their job. But they didn't want.
They could. I just said I would like to see them attempt.
No. But I get what you're saying though, right? Because that's what they're selling. They're selling us on run the ball and play defense, right? And we didn't do that when it comes down to it because they don't believe that. They don't believe what they're saying.
And they did attempt it and they failed.
Yeah, they did. Yes, they did.
So I got a scenario question for y'all, right? Real quick. I just did some quick research, right?
Okay.
Well, since we're talking about acquiring wide receivers, right? We're gonna go through what these teams gave up to get these wide receivers. Real quick.
Mike got one of his gotcha questions.
So, and I got a question to follow. I want to see if you guys realize what the common denominator is in these situations. Okay. So Diggs, right? Diggs. So Minnesota sent Diggs in a 7th round pick to Buffalo for a late 1st round pick, 22nd overall, in a 6th round pick in the 2020 draft, and then a 4th round pick in the 2021 draft. That's what they gave up for Diggs. Okay, AJ Brown was a 1st and a 3rd.
Okay.
Hopkins was David Johnson, who's not in the league anymore. a 2020 second round pick, and a 2021 fourth round pick, right? What I want to know if you guys realize or know what the common denominator is in all of these situations.
The extra pick in that year, like the year out.
Good guess, but no. Anybody else want to try?
Hold on. I mean, the one common denominator. I'm not sure if this is where you're going, but one is that they're going to the other conference.
No. But
wait. So who the plays again? You had Hopkins,
Diggs, and Brown.
And
AJ Brown
when they got traded.
They were all up for a new contract.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Bingo, Garnett. That's the common denominator. They all got new contracts, some of them $100 million contracts, and we don't like to pay people. That's why we didn't go after these guys. Because they didn't. I mean, if you look at the grand scheme of things, you got Diggs for a 22nd overall pick, a 6th round, and a 2021 4th round. That's nothing for his production of what he's giving out, right? Yeah. AJ Brown, for what he gives out, a 1st and a 3rd. D Hop, a running back that's not in the league anymore, a 2nd rounder and a 4th round. It all leads to them not wanting to pay out the money that these players who's looking to get out of there covet. That's why we didn't go after Debo, because we know Debo was holding out because Debo wanted to get paid.
Yeah.
So until we want to pay, we already not paying our quarterback. You know what I mean? Again, it just goes back to the philosophy of like, bro, like we got to change.
The problem with it. Go ahead, Ron.
No, I was just saying, but Mike, this is going to go back to all the way to what I'm about to say. 2019 is the biggest blessing and the biggest curse of all time. The moment we was able to be productive with Seth Roberts, Willie Sneeze, and all those guys, the system already told you, hey, we can get away with this. We can get away with murder. So now it's like we've seen it. We can try to replicate it over and over. We got Hollywood first round. We'll get a couple of them. We might get another first round receiver, a la Bateman, and just keep on repeating the cycle over and over and think we can hit. We got Andrews. Shoot, heck, we got Lamar. We can just run the ball all day. It's just the same old thing over and over. But my biggest issue, I think, what literally fluctuates this whole situation is, Coach, you said something, and I thought about it. I always said this, like you said, hey, these receivers will not fit our scheme. The biggest issue is I'm witnessing the Eagles. They get a receiver, AJ Brown. They literally shifted what they do instead of being a run heavy type of team.
Transformed everything.
Hey, we pay you. You're getting your targets. The last thing I want to be at as a head coach is on a booth. Hey, you're paying $100 million receiver. Why he's only getting 6 targets a game? And then it's happened every week when it comes to Bateman or any other receiver. We're like, we're I don't know why we did not throw the ball to Bateman a lot, or we didn't scheme for him. Like that's a bull crap excuse, like over and over and over. So that's my whole biggest issue. It's like you go get a receiver that's gonna put the pressure on the coaching staff to resolve the issue. Right now,
nobody's gonna put pressure on him.
Exactly.
I got a question for everybody. And I got to run that 9.
Yes, sir.
Lamar tweeted out, "We're Gucci, good game Bills," and I had a little smart comeback, said we not Gucci. We're 2-2, and the last time we were 2-2, all the Ravens optimists are saying we ran off 12, 13, whatever we ran straight.
Right.
Honestly, and I felt bad after that Cleveland game when all that stuff happened. Then, honestly, where do you guys feel? Jokes aside, we're headed after today.
Well, I think we're still going to win a lot of games this season. Like I still think we're a playoff team. Like every team has these types of games, right? They're just like how we ended last year, and kind of like what they kind of talked this team up to be in the offseason, and not seeing them live up to that early on was frustrating. But look, Lamar is off to a great start. I think he's going to keep it going, and a lot of these games, like some of these games, they'll be tight, and he is going to pull it out for us. I still see us winning, 11, 12, maybe 13 games, We're not going to drop too many more games after this. I don't believe it. My issue is the playoffs. That's when we're going to see that major fall off in talent, and there's nothing we're going to be able to do about that. But for regular season, we're gonna win.
Me personally, I think we go. How many games we got left? 13?
13, yeah.
13. So I'd say for the rest of the season, we probably go 8-5. If we stay healthy. I think I said before, we're a 10-win team. I just don't see them making the necessary changes because as in the beginning of the season, we're still making the same mistakes. We're still doing the same things. But the only difference is we're losing players. So we're losing skill position, we're losing important pieces, but we're not making any changes to make this team any better. So coaching, I was like, look, every time I give somebody praise, they turn around and fuck it up. Excuse me. They turn around and mess it up. Greg Roman, Queen, Bateman, listen, I just don't see us unless Harbaugh kind of takes a look at himself and says, look, all right, this might be my last year. I need to change some things around and do things a little bit different. Look, I'm demoting you, promoting you. Unless that happens, I say 8 may be the most games that we'll win going forward.
8 more or 8 total?
8 more. 8 more. I think 10. I think 10 wins is our ceiling right now, to me.
I think so much just depends on how they adjust. Because the Ravens, they've shown in these first couple of games, they're close. But I just feel like our expectations were a lot higher because they were close last year and they had so many people out. So a lot of us came into this year expecting, all right, Ravens getting everybody back. They're going to have the boys together. Lamar coming back. Marcus Peters coming back. Everybody coming back. And then, of course, they added some new guys too. So a lot of us came into this season thinking like, all right, we got something serious. Now, they still could have something serious, but they just got to fix these small mistakes that add up to big problems. So I think everything really depends on how they adjust moving forward. And that's from everybody. That's adjustments with the coaching staff. That's execution with the players as well. It's on both sides. It's not just one or the other. So I think everything just depends on how they moving forward.
Yeah, just guys, we're doing a round circle with it. I'm just gonna go say, I always said it was gonna be 11-16. We might just say braces up to 1. That's cool, but it's still the same way. I'm not gonna I think one thing I like about how it sounds weird that I'm saying this, but the one thing I like about how this is unfolding, a lot of this adversity is happening right now. A lot of the coaching, a lot of the execution, a lot of the just the errors that are critical errors that, if down the stretch would be super critical, are just happening right now to a point where we can correct these issues. Like execution, all this can be fixed. Obviously, I know the rain played a part with some of the catching. I don't know. It's just how I look at it, man. It's gonna be 11-16. That's just my opinion, and it still stands to this day.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all answering my question. Let me exit. I'm gonna exit real quick.
All right, Coach.
Make sure y'all tune in tomorrow, round table, 9 o'clock.
Thanks for stopping by.
Appreciate you. Hey, and I would have been here earlier, but I didn't see the link until I was looking for something on my phone. Appreciate the invite.
No problem. Thanks, Coach.
But yeah, so to also answer, I guess I think partially it depends on Bateman and how long he's going to be out. It depends on how J.K. Dobbins continues to kind of round into form. Depends on when Tyus Bowser comes back. Those kind of things. Just looking at their schedule right now, I'm seeing like 10-7. I think they're going to hit a win streak here pretty soon. But I think that things get kind of tough for them towards the end of the season.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Zay. I think they will still win a lot of games. It's just going to be these type of games that you either they gotta be a lesson, or it either gotta be a blessing or a lesson, right? and to Garnett's point, hopefully, the mistakes that they got going on now they can fix, and then they got these type of games out of the way early, so leading on to the playoff run, these things won't rear their ugly head. but I think they'll win a lot of games in the regular season. My concern is injuries, right? I haven't heard much about Justice situation. I hope it was just cramps or something like that, but coming off an Achilles injury, that looked a little scary.
Big Rev said that what he had heard was that it was a hamstring strain.
Okay, and that can take weeks, right? That can put a player out for weeks. So injuries, I mean, we got Bateman in a boot. That will be my concern going forward. But I think they'll win. I think they'll win their fair share of games. I think they'll be in the playoffs. But we'll see how healthy we are when we get further down in the schedule.
Yeah, I think for me, next week is going to be a big tell because if you beat, even though the Bengals are not the team that we thought they were going to be, if you don't beat the Bengals or if it's really close, I still think you guys will win the division, be division champs, get to the playoffs. But if you guys have a hard time with Cincinnati next week, I don't see you walking into Buffalo winning a game. I don't see you walking into Miami if Miami continues to be that team, and I don't see you walking into KC beating that team. Realistically, can Lamar carry that team carry the Ravens in a playoff game? Absolutely, but with the way the defense is playing against those type of high scoring teams, I think it's going to be tough. Now I know KC is not the same KC without Tyreek Hill, but they can still put up points. They still have Travis Kelce. They got a couple other good weapons. So I just don't see you guys being able to go in on a road and win the game, even though you've had your issues with at home. I don't know in a playoff time. I don't know if I could see you guys walking into a stadiums like that and winning a playoff game.
Was Lamar's first pick off a tip? Yes, it was. And that goes
of
back
his career or this season?
No, he's talking about this game today.
Oh, okay. He threw it low.
Actually, our offensive line wasn't blocking, and the guy was literally just standing there and jumped up at the last minute.
You can't blame that one on the offensive line.
If you are engaged, Mike, with somebody, it's pretty hard. It's pretty. Oh no!
You mean if they're holding them?
He literally
listen, you can grab them here. You just
it was low. The guy got his hand up, but it kind of hit the guy's hand versus the guy doing more of a like Calais. That was a tip. Calais got his big paw up there and knocked that down. But that situation, Lamar threw a low ball there.
Yeah, Lamar. Like I said, it's an all around game. As much as people don't want to blame Lamar for something.
Oh no, Lamar had it. Yes.
Yeah, Lamar had a couple of like he missed a layup, man. That Mark Andrews Mark Andrews ran the most beautiful out and up I ain't seen in a minute, bro. And it was like this was a free 7. Guess not.
Yeah, he should have done that in the second half too.
Okay, I want to say thank you to the Queen Yolanda for the $10 donation. It says, "Gentlemen, great collabs. Thank you." After today's game, I needed this.
Thank you, Yolanda.
Hopefully, we don't need too many more of these because we're winning games. And we can hold on to leads.
Only Hendo can pull this all-star cast together like that.
Only me. First of all,
Sunday.
First of all, it's not only Hendo. It's by the grace of your all kindness.
Oh yeah, of course.
It ain't got nothing to do with me. It's
you put the call in. We always like, all right, that's Hendo.
Exactly.
That's Hendo.
Listen, I appreciate y'all, but it has been over 2 hours, and I'm not trying to keep. Yeah, I know, right?
Hashtag 2 hours. Oh, Hendo did
it. This might be the last stream, Hendo.
I ain't got no problems with it, bruh. But listen, we're going to start wrapping it up here. So, Mr. Engraven, I thank you for stopping by. If you can let everybody know where they can find you, even though we know they already know.
I appreciate you having us all along, man. You can find me at Engraven Vids on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, really anything. And we talk Ravens football every single day, sometimes 2-3 times a day, depending on what's going on, how busy it is. It's Team Keep It Clean, so it's a family-friendly channel, but everybody more than welcome to come through. And if you come through and it's for you, stick around. If you come through and it's not for you, that's fine too. But I appreciate it. Appreciate you having us on. This was fun. And that's that, man. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you once again.
And
All right.
Graven, I'm expecting a busy day tomorrow, man, with this announcement.
Oh yeah. We're gonna be watching and waiting, man.
Listen,
How many videos you putting out for a Lamar signing?
If it's something like, I don't want to say something silly, but if it's like a Ring of Honor, something like that,
yeah.
I don't know, I'm gonna be kind of disappointed, but I'm expecting to be disappointed. I don't think it's gonna be anything crazy though.
Yeah,
I would like it to be, but I don't think it's gonna be.
It's still gonna be 10 videos about how to ring. Listen, he goes to them like, look, video 1, y'all messed up. Video 2, you better. Video 3, I'm expecting more. Like, come on, guys. We are your fans. Do what we need you to do. But nah, in all seriousness, Graven be putting out their heat.
Nah, appreciate you, man. Appreciate all of y'all, man.
Yes, sir. Next up, we got a lunch break hot take. Jose, Rodney, let them know what you got going on. Oh, he just left. Okay.
Yeah, he did. And Jose's muted. So
my bad. Yes. Yes, we are the Lunch Break Hot Take. We do a live show every Wednesday night at 7:15 p.m. Eastern time. And every now and then we do a post-game show after Ravens and or Panthers games. So tune in. You can also find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at LBHT Show. And if you see the little crown behind me there, okay, that is our logo. That is the logo that you see Mikey wearing. That is for our other podcast. If you're a boxing fan, Ring Kings Podcast. That's where you can find us. We just recorded a bunch of episodes, so we're gonna be dropping some stuff for you guys starting tomorrow. All right, and we're also on wherever you listen to your podcasts, Spotify, Apple, all that good stuff.
Okay, that's what's up. Next up, we got my man OTR on the mic, Mike.
Yeah.
Let him know what you got.
Listen, man, I appreciate you having me on. Of course. Listen, I'm 1/4 of the almost retired off the record podcast, but those are my guys, but we in retirement right now. We
hiatus.
Little something. I'm 1/3, as my man Jose just said, of Ring Kings Podcast, man. Come over there and check it out. If you want anything boxing, we're where you want to be, because we got it. We make it friendly for the casual fan and the hardcore fan. So come check us out. And then I'm one of the new, soon to be dropping Open Mic podcast. It's coming very, very soon. Be ready for that. I do have a Twitter and Instagram page for all of that. Go follow that, OTR_Mike. I also have a YouTube page that I need you guys to subscribe to, because they kind of hating on me right now.
It'll be in the description.
Yeah, check out Open Mic with OTRMike. That is the YouTube channel. Go give me a subscribe or subscription or whatever we call it on YouTube. I'm new to this thing. And that's me, man.
That's right. Make sure y'all check him out. And last but certainly not least, we got my man Suge Knight and my man Garrett with some big news that they wanted to drop with everybody. All right, fellas, let them know what we can expect going forward.
Well, first off, did everybody else get the message from Hendo saying, "Hey, I want you to come on the show so I can make fun of your team," or just me? You know what I mean?
I got it.
Okay. I got. That's the message I got. But Hendo, it's always a pleasure talking football with you. You know that. I appreciate you for letting me on, and obviously Garnett. He could speak for himself, but I appreciate you, and thank you for letting me come on, hang out with you guys. Especially the fact that I don't like the Ravens, but it is what it is. But speaking of, I used to do a Steelers Ravens podcast as called We Are the AFC North. Unfortunately, it didn't work out. And if you saw the last episode, I had Garnett on there. Then me and Garnett started having some conversations after that show. And so we're going to start a new podcast with the same kind of format of Steelers and Ravens. With somebody that gave me the name here. I won't mention him, but no, I'm not the real Suge Knight. Obviously, you can see. I thought you said, "Am I?" My bad, baseball life. I thought she said, "Am I the real Suge Knight?" I was like, "No, I'm not the real Suge Knight."
He said, "No, I get that a lot."
No, I do. Trust me. When you go into people's chats, I mean, when I went into Lunch Break Hot Takes chat, They were like, "Oh, is this the real Suge Knight?" Nah.
I said, is this the good one or the bad Suge?
Yeah. But the new podcast is going to be called a Still Conspiracy podcast with me and Garnett talking Ravens and Steelers football. There you go. It's a work. It's going to be a work in progress, but yeah, you can expect that at the same time Mondays. Most likely after the Monday night game with me and Garnett talking Steelers and Ravens. So come through, hang out. Suge Knight 323 YouTube channel is where it's going to be at. Come hang out with me and Garnett. It's going to be fun because I love hanging out with Garnett and talking football. And he's it's going to be exciting. So yeah, it's still conspiracy. Davon's been waiting for this for a while. So I'm happy. I'm happy he's happy. Finally. So come hang out with me and Garnett. Starting I don't know, Garnett, we might do it tomorrow. You know, we were talking about next week, but tomorrow might happen. I don't know. We'll have a conversation later.
That face said it all. That face said, hold on. We ain't
yeah, I haven't. The check hasn't cleared yet for Garnett to start work. So
nah, man. I work for $3.99, man. But I'm excited, man. I always wanted to venture off and do something of this magnitude. So yeah, man. Suge is a great dude, great homie. My whole sole purpose on this show to get him to understand that, you know, Christian Bale is the best Batman.
Yes.
So never is gonna happen.
Every Monday, I will make sure that point will be across. You know, so. But yeah,
cancel another podcast.
Yeah, man. But for the realness though, like it's gonna be legit, man. Me and Suge, I think we bounce off each other perfectly well. Like just doing that one episode last Monday was a blast, and I'm glad that we can do this, you know, repeatedly for a whole season, man. And yeah, man, it's just gonna be a good, you know, good. I think I think the rivalry between the Steelers and the Ravens, it used to be like the best. It still is the best to me, but hopefully we can bring that old fire back between me and us. I mean, me and Suge, I should say.
For sure. Yeah, I really enjoy talking with Garnett. He's the face that run the spaces, so it's gonna be nice. I have that going on for the podcast, but we're gonna do a lot. Me and him are already talking, and we already got stuff planned, so it's gonna be very exciting. So tune in and make sure to subscribe. Suge Knight 323, and also shout out to Mike and his new podcast. I cannot wait to hear that because Mike always has really good stuff to say, and he's a really good dude. One of my favorite hosts. And I really want to. I really want to hit him.
Hold up, Suge. I am your favorite host.
You are. Well,
it's changed now.
It's kind of changed. It's kind of changing now. It's kind of changing. You're still You're 1A, Mike. You're 1A. Okay, but there is a 1B now. Now there's a 1B. So
okay,
all right. But you're still you're still my favorite. You're still one of my favorites. All right.
I can respect that. I can respect that.
But yeah, congratulations, Mike, on your thing, and also Lunch Break Hot Take. Always a pleasure hanging out with you guys, and thank you for all you've done for me and you know, doing podcasts. And like I said, Hendo, always a pleasure, man. You're the best.
Oh no, I'm not, but I appreciate you fellas. I just try to be present in the moment. You know, stack it one day at a time. Give my best. You know, all the cliche.
I just try to stay humble. I know I'm that dude.
No. Well, listen, I've been telling y'all like this. I'm not that dude. I hang around those dudes. So by proxy,
listen, we are a force here. Okay, this is the collective here. All right, this is what we do.
This is what we do. And listen, if you want to be a part of what we do, we all have Patreons. Sign up, be a part of it. Join the Discord. I'm sure Mike is going to get his up really soon. I know Suge and Garnett is going to get theirs up. Come join in the fun beyond the streams. Be down with us. Come kick it with us. And also, you know, if you look down, you should see my merchandise. I just opened up my store.
Okay. Let me look on the phone.
I mean, it should be there. So, you know, if you want to support, just go through it. You know, I got a couple little things, but you know, the best is yet to come. As soon as I get this last drawing done. Don't laugh at me. As soon as I get this last drawing done, if I can get it done in the next couple of days, I think it'll be the best one, and you will be pleasantly surprised. But I thank you all for stopping by, hanging out with us. You know, always remember Rogue Thought. Think for yourself, especially when it comes to the sports stuff. Never give in to conformity, and always remember, like Captain Chesapeake said, be somebody important. Be yourself. Until next time, y'all.
You know what they say when they see us? They point at us and say, those
I
are
can
bad
feel the
guys.
blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go eat, then you know I'm gon' feed them. If you're coming for me, hope you're ready for a demon. I got eyes in the back of my head, I'm seeing. Take me for granted and you know I'm leaving. I'ma take what's mine with the webs I'm weaving. I could take this crowd from seeing to believing. Got a taste for blood and my tongue keeps bleeding from the words I spit. So sharp, so freezing, so cold, behold.